Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Mr. Andrew Meadows. Uh-oh.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
COVID's
I'm okay.
back with a vengeance.
I am here. Choked on my own saliva. I apologize about that.
You were just
That's
so
how
excited.
exciting I am.
You were
I am
so excited.
salivating at the bit. Yes. Salivating to talk about the Mando.
Oh,
And that's what we're talking
Mandalorian.
about.
Yes.
Talking about the Mando. And we have a special guest today.
Joining us once again, it is Jedi Master Henrique Jaime. Welcome back to the show.
Ooh.
Thanks, guys. Had to bring out the lightsaber for that. For those of you who couldn't see it, this is gonna be a good episode.
Lots to talk about. Mandalorian Season 2 was packed full of goodies. I mean, no secret about that. I mean, we'll have a very extensive spoiler-filled conversation, I think, at some point later in this episode. I mean, we've kind of somewhat had a side conversation as the episodes have been dropping week to week, but I feel like I've been holding back a lot of my reactions. So I'm very excited to do a deep dive with you all in a little bit of time. But
Don't spoil the Jar Jar Binks cameo too early.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't spoil Darth Jar Jar. I wouldn't do that to our listeners. I just wouldn't do it. But Mandalorian Season 2 it's a hell of a ride. So I'm excited to talk with you all about it. Henrique, I'm happy to have you back. I don't think we've had you back, unfortunately, since we last talked Star Wars with the Clone Wars, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be a good one. I do want to say, I guess at the top, I mean, unfortunately, exams wreaked havoc on my life for a couple weeks after Andrew and I recorded our last episode, so there was a very large delay in recording and getting that out to the masses. But as it turns out, we're only a few days ahead of Christmas now, and knowing myself, by the time this goes up, I'm going to guess that Christmas will probably have elapsed. It will probably have passed. So hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. And I hope that you two, that I'm, presently recording with, have a very nice Christmas as well. So I do want to say that, and happy holidays for anyone that celebrates any non-Christmas holidays as well. Of course, we try to be as inclusive as possible here.
One thing we should be inclusive of is everybody can get. What I'm trying to say is everybody can get on the same fucking page. Goodbye, 2020. The year is coming to an end.
Oh yeah.
The hellscape is over, and we're opening a new year, and good riddance 2020. I could go without another year like this.
I don't know if the hellscape is over, but I think the sun
we gotta be turning a corner, man.
Yeah.
We gotta be turning a corner.
The hope is that it's winding down. Vaccine distribution maybe picks up, hopefully, in the next few weeks, months, however long it kind of takes, and maybe we can slowly see a return to normalcy. But I'm not a doctor. We do actually have a doctor with us right now who can probably speak to this a little better than certainly Andrew and I can, or maybe than we did on our last episode. For the people that are like, wow, you guys really talked about COVID and politics for an hour? Okay. All right. What show is this again?
It happens. I mean, there's only so many movies and TV shows out, right? So
yeah. Well, I mean, December's it's packed to the brim. We had a pretty dry November that we had to catch up on, but lots of stuff to cover in December, including the Mandalorian. So, do we have? We can banter all night. I'm happy to banter all night. But if we want to talk about some Mandalorian related things, I'm also game for that. If Andrew happens to have a fun fact, for example,
I can kick it off with a fun fact. I hope that it wasn't the fact that I
used last time for season 1.
Yeah.
I actually didn't go back and check, so if it starts to sound familiar, I'll let you know, but give it a go.
So my question to you guys is, do you know what a volume is in filmmaking terms?
Oh, I was like, yeah, there's a unit of measurement?
No.
It's how loud shit is, man. It's how loud things are, isn't it?
No. In fact, filmmakers use the term volume to describe the space where you capture live actors or motion capture people, and it's a place where you can pause it, right? So conventionally, this has been done in you'd capture your actors in front of a green screen, right? And they would be forced to pretend to be interacting with, the space around them. ILM has ILM has changed the way actors can interface with digitally created scapes,
environments,
if you will. Environments. There's my word. So what they do is they actually pre-render. They have this thing. It was formerly called Stagecraft, and it's 20-foot tall, 270 degree, 75 foot across, like massive, almost complete circle, massive LED screens. And they used this in the past, and then they recently, with season 1 of the Mando, they changed it and they made them essentially quote unquote intelligent. So what they do is they pre-render the landscapes or whatever it is that they want to put on these massive screens. And as the camera moves within the space of what they're now not calling Stagecraft anymore, they're now calling it the volume. As the camera moves, what's rendered on the screen behind the actor is reflective of what that camera would see. Right. So, for example, if in the computer, they design a landscape and there's a speeder on the right, but the camera's facing all the way to the left. If the camera pans out to the right or whatever to show what's on the right side of the actor, the screens in that space show what is on the far right. And there's a really in-depth article on TechCrunch.com. It was written in February of this year. And it was super interesting. I read the entire thing and I didn't skim. I actually used my brain to read it. And it's like I said, it's a really cool read because I think a large percentage of what was filmed in season 1 was filmed using these techniques. And that's from like the inside of ships to desert landscapes and a large portion of the show. And the technology goes far beyond that. Johnny V has actually pushed this technology forward in a lot of the ways, like James Cameron and Andy Serkis have pioneered mocap and that sort of thing before him. Johnny V has pushed through and really tried to make the most of this technology. You can actually take, like, for example, conventionally, if you wanted to go out and film a scene in the desert, you would have to fly everybody out to the fucking desert, get permits, and film out there. It's super expensive. With this, you can send a small group of people to capture the environment in super high resolution 3D, right? You capture the whole thing, and then you bring it back in to the sound stage where they have the volume, and you can put the thing on the screen there. Likewise, if you have to get people in to reshoot, you want to change the dialogue or something, rather than flying a whole crew out to certain locations to redo things. When you're there filming in the first place, you capture the environment in its entirety, and then if you need to do reshoots, you can make practical effects within the volume on top of having the environment on the screen behind the actor. And nobody knows the wiser. It's incredible. It's a super incredible technology that I think is gonna, at least for like Marvel and big film studios, I think they'll be able to leverage this in a big way. It's really cool stuff. Especially, like I said, TechCrunch did a really in-depth article on it. It's really cool. Fun fact: I like this stuff. Maybe that's the fun fact. I like this stuff, and I think it's super interesting.
I thought I heard that was one of the reasons why they were able to finish. I don't know if they were still filming or like production on The Mandalorian, even with the pandemic, was slightly because of this technology, is what I thought I heard.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly streamlines the filmmaking process, to make it, I guess, operate under less than ideal circumstances. But yeah, It is. I mean, I agree with you, Andrew, in the sense that like this stuff is just incredibly fascinating. The stuff that they've developed. That Johnny V. He's the new George Lucas, right? He's a real pioneer in a sort of way with kind of pushing this technology and pushing this filmmaking methodology. It's really interesting. Only two things that you kind of that I did want to say before I forgot. I actually, while you were talking, I was listening for the record. I was listening, but I did go back just to see what we talked about in terms of season 1, and we actually did.
And it was probably this, wasn't it?
We did season 1 as a bonus episode, which means that we technically didn't do a fun fact for that episode. I think we talked about the technology in discussing The Mandalorian, but we didn't use it as a fun fact, so you're totally in the clear. And the only other thing that I'll add is for folks that are kind of, really finding this sort of thing interesting, finding what Andrew's talking about very interesting. They did a whole behind-the-scenes show about The Mandalorian with 8 episodes in that first season, and one of those episodes is technology. I think the 4th episode is technology. Now, having said that, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm imagining that it does a similar deep dive on this technology, and you can probably see it kind of play out in real time. And I imagine that if it's something doesn't really make sense, and you're trying to envision in your head, you can probably get the gaps filled in for you by watching this episode. So I should go back and watch all that. I know they're doing one more episode for season 2. Like they're just doing, instead of doing like a full 8 episode season, they're just going to do another episode and tack that on for the making of season 2. So lots of behind the scenes Mandalorian goodness if you want to check that Disney Gallery Mandalorian show out. So yeah, that was a very enlightening, very fun fact, I must say. So thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome, guys. Ready to talk about some other stuff?
I guess
talk about some other stuff. So yeah, I think I made the note last time we were recording. Also about Star Wars. We said it was about the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. In reality, it was about 15 minutes of the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special and about 2.5 hours of everything else. But I made the note that when we were talking about news, we were specifically excluding Disney news because there was a big thing happening. And so now we're kind of going to close the loop. The only news on this episode will be Disney-related news because we're going to have a ton to talk about with The Mandalorian, but there's a ton to talk about of what came out at Disney Investor Day. I guess probably a couple weeks ago from when we're recording this now, where they talked about everything, all basically the Disney projects that are upcoming for the next few years, really. And that includes, TV stuff, Disney Plus stuff, Hulu stuff, ESPN stuff, and stuff from their heavy hitters from Lucasfilm, from Marvel Studios, from Pixar. So there's a lot of information to unpack. It was a 4-hour streaming thing, I think, is what it was. So we will try to keep our coverage of it certainly under 4 hours, but there's a lot that happened.
Are you part of this Disney investors group now?
Well, I'm not. Andrew might be a Disney investor. Did you invest in Disney?
Sounds like you.
Yeah. So did we not talk about this last on the podcast, or was it?
I don't know if I don't think we did it on the podcast. I think we might have had a conversation IRL, if you will.
Real quick, I don't want to make this long. So Disney dumped out all this shit, all the stuff that we're about to talk about the night we were recording the podcast.
They were doing it as we were recording the last podcast. That's right.
Exactly.
That's right, yeah.
So me in my investing prowess, I said, fuck, I'm going to take all my money and put it right in on an option for Disney. Right. So that night, the stock option I was looking at was trading the day of market close, which was that day, a few hours before we were recording the podcast. It closed, and that option was trading at $176. And I don't have a lot of money in the stock market, so I had to sell all my shit and in order to buy that one option. So I said, fuck it, I'll just sell all my shit. So I sold all my shit, and I queued up to buy this $176 option the following morning. Disney talks about all this stuff. It's fucking incredible. I stayed up until like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was doing side projects and stuff, and I had to paint the booth. And I stayed up all night watching all the trailers and whatnot. I was stoked. I'm going to be investing in Disney. Fuck yeah. Market opened the following day. That $176 stock option was trading at $1,280. I never got the fucking chance to fucking buy it. It sat there in queue all day long. I never got to buy it. Disney stock went up I want to say 16 or $18 that day. Trading at record highs for Disney. I never got the chance. So I had a chance to take $180 and turn it into, $1,200. It never happened. I was 4 hours short or 3 hours short or whatever.
You had to get in there before they started revealing all the goodies. I think maybe that's the lesson to be learned.
The lesson to learn is to know when they're having these fucking things. Yeah. And then I can do it the day of. Right. Because otherwise I would have done it. But yeah, anyways, I'm a loser. I have since pulled all my money out of the stock market.
Yeah. Are you retiring from that lifestyle, or are you just taking a break?
No, I'm not retiring. I still have the Robinhood app, but I pulled all my money out to pay some extra bills and stuff. It was $230. It's Christmas time.
Got to buy some Christmas presents. Mm-hmm. It's a few days before Christmas. No time to start shopping like now. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right. Well, very good. So, I think the things that we're going to talk about are going to make it very clear why the Disney stock jumped as much as it did, because there's a lot of good stuff, and I hate to do it to our listeners, but we got to keep them in suspense, or they can just use timestamps. I'm going to keep the good shit for last. I think the stuff that we're really going to want to sink our teeth into we'll save for last. But there's a lot of good stuff to talk about in the NRM. I'm going to kind of monologue a little bit here and maybe throw it to you guys at opportunities to, if you guys feel the need to weigh on anything that I mention. But I'm just going to pick a topic, kind of exhaust what was announced, and then throw it to you guys, and we'll kind of go from there. And then that'll be the Disney Investor Day. So we'll see how it goes. But we will start. I guess I'll just start with throwing out some good fun facts about Disney itself. I mean, they spent the beginning part of this basically saying, yeah, we're fucking awesome. We're the best. You love us. You know us. You love us. You buy our shit. You get our streaming service. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? They are kind of right about that, aren't they?
We own the fucking world.
Basically.
If Jeff Bezos didn't have the billions of dollars, we would be the best thing in the world. But we'll buy them out eventually too. That sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, they talked about their numbers. ESPN has over 11 million subscribers. Hulu has just short of 39 million subscribers. And Disney Plus, the big one, has a staggering 86.8 million subscribers since it launched pretty much almost a year ago, just over a year ago now, November 2019, alongside season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not to cut you off.
No,
do the ESPN and Hulu numbers include the people that are packaged into the Disney Plus package?
I would assume.
Probably.
Yeah, right. If you're part of the 3-part package, I'm sure you're getting factored into those figures.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're expecting streaming services to hit 300 to 350 million total subscriptions by 2024. So they got a 4-year target to get those numbers pumped up. But and one thing to keep in mind is a lot of this stuff is projecting for not just next year. This is years to come. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about, we're not going to see for a long time. We might not see footage from or images from for a long time. A lot of it is here's all the here's the shit we have on deck, because obviously 2020 has been a shit show. It's rocked the boat in terms of theatrical releases. The things are just weird and bad. And here is some reason to be excited about the future and to show that there's stability in this company in spite of all the badness. So it is Investor Day. It's for investors. It's not Comic-Con. It's not, it's not that sort of thing, although it had the feel of it at times, certainly in terms of the types of announcements that got made. But, it's all very much from this appealing to people to throw money at them kind of thing, which they're a company. That's how things work. And Andrew's case, he was ready to do it. He's like, fuck it. They're announcing that. I'm giving them fucking $170. Hell yeah. So, so Disney Plus is going to bump up $1 in terms of pricing starting in March, I believe.
Okay.
And I think that the 3-pack bundle with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN will also follow that. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Disney Plus, I think, especially now, is starting to get a lot more value. And I think as again, these announcements will basically foretell there's a lot of value that is going to continue with the Disney Plus streaming service. So, beyond that, let's talk about Disney Television Studios, who are working on a few things for Disney Plus itself. So first thing they announced, well, I don't know if it was the first thing, but one of the things they announced, I'm following literally the Disney website on this, so it maybe matches the order, maybe it doesn't, if that matters to anyone. There's a Beauty and the Beast live action spinoff TV show coming, which is going to star Luke Evans and Josh Gad, aka Gaston and LeFou.
That sounds cool. I'll take it.
So you get a little Beauty and the Beast spinoff with them, which will feature a new music composed by Alan Menken, who worked on the music for the original one. Percy Jackson and the Olympians is getting another adaptation via Disney at this point. The Mighty Ducks are getting their own live action TV series to feature the return of Emilio Estevez, with Lauren Graham also joining the cast. We've got Turner and Hooch coming, and a couple other things, but I think those are maybe the bigger, more recognizable ones. So any thoughts, Andrew, Henrique, Beauty and the Beast, Percy Jackson, Mighty Ducks, Turner and Hooch, anything in there that really gets the Jets going or whatever?
Was there any Moana announcement? I can't remember.
There is. Minor thing. So yes, there's. So this is specifically Disney Television Studios. There is Disney Animation.
Oh, I see.
Who did some other stuff.
Gotcha.
So I'll be talking about them as well. So yeah. So of the things that I've mentioned, I guess I'll say I will talk about that. And if I do miss anything after the fact, then obviously feel free to fill in the gaps. But anything here, Andrew, you seem to express a mild interest at the Beauty and the Beast spinoff. But
I like the Beauty and the Beast spinoff. That sounds fun. Sounds cool.
Okay.
I like the Mighty Ducks. I haven't seen it forever, so I
feel like they're all on Disney Plus now. There was a time I think when it launched that they weren't available because I think of pre-existing contracts with other streaming services. But I think at this point they're probably all up there now. So you can always revisit them. You can always revisit them if you got some time off and you're feeling a little hockey for yourself. So
all right, yeah.
Cool. I feel like it's not at the top of my list, but more content's always nice. I might go back. I don't think I've even seen the Beauty and the Beast live action, to be honest.
Well, there was a time at a certain convention, Colton and I jammed out freaking hard to the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack.
That's some good shit. It's some good music.
No, I watched the original pretty recently, but
be our guest. Be our guest. Put ourselves to the test. Yeah, that sort of thing. Good stuff. All right. Any other thoughts, or shall we move on? I think we can probably keep it brief with some of these less exciting, or at least less exciting for us. I don't want to diminish the work that anyone's doing, obviously, but nothing in there I think that really speaks to us, to sings to us or anything like that. But
yeah, we're moving on. Yeah.
Okay. Hearing affirmation, I will move on to Hulu. Hulu, still a thing. There was rumor mill swirling about ahead of this that Hulu was going to get merged into Disney Plus, and it seems that if indeed that's going to happen, it's not happening anytime soon. So for now, Hulu is remaining its own standalone thing. Handmaid's Tale renewed for a 5th season.
Damn.
What horrible things can they put those women through this time? Stay tuned and find out. I still haven't watched any of it, so I really actually don't know where it's at to these days, but Always Sunny in Philadelphia is getting, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 more additional seasons.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Which will smash the record for the longest running live action sitcom in television history, which is awesome.
That is
a
incredible.
Hilarious show, and it has not missed a beat. Basically since it aired, which is really impressive in its own way.
Is this like a situation? Has it continued through? Like, I thought they stopped for a while ago, right?
If they've stopped, it's really only been for like a year and a half type things. Like, there's never been a consistent like big gap.
Oh shit,
like,
I'm way behind.
It's been canceled and uncanceled. It's on like 14 seasons or something now. I think maybe 12, something like that. But yeah, it's pretty much been a through line. But I mean, it's kind of one thing is like, the guy that plays Dennis, Glenn Howerton, I think, has been kind of on and off the show because he has another show, and I think Caitlin Olsen has also been on other shows. So, some of the cast members, I think, have kind of dipped in and out as their careers have kind of developed into working on other projects. But yeah, I mean, the show's kind of been around it's been a mainstay for a decade plus at this point.
Is
14
Mac
seasons.
still
14
fat?
Seasons.
Is Mac still fat?
Can't keep track.
I think he's done cultivating mass at this point. I think he's harvested it. Is that what it was? And other Hulu stuff, the FX on Hulu branding is going to continue. Obviously with Always Sunny, but also with a 2-season Order of the Stones, which is a drama series about the Rolling Stones. We'll also be getting an adaptation of a beloved epic saga called Shogun, set within feudal Japan. And last but not least, a very big movie franchise is getting its first ever television adaptation, and that is an adaptation of the sci-fi horror classic Alien. So will Ridley Scott be involved to further ruin the Alien franchise? No indication as of now. So hopefully we can steer clear of his bullshit and he can keep his shit constrained to Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, as Andrew talked about last episode. So yeah, I mean, got a few big announcements there for Hulu, FX on Hulu. There's already some pre-announced stuff that'll be up there. A Why the Last Man's getting an adaptation.
A Wild Ass Man?
Why the Last Man? There's one called The Old Man. I don't know what that one is, but apparently he's old and he's a man. So,
but it's not the wild. It's not the Wild Ass Man.
It's not the Wild Ass Man. I would watch that show though, based on the title alone. Good. There's Dope Sick, which is a new drama series with Michael Keaton, Peter Skarsgård, and Rosario Dawson. So lots of good stuff coming to Hulu between just Hulu stuff and FX on Hulu stuff. So of the things I've named, again, I will ask for response from the audience. Is there anything in there that stands out that catches your eye? I mean, I think we're all probably still Hulu subscribers at this point. So
we'll watch a lot of Jeopardy and Jeopardy and This Is Us. Been watching that on the Hulu. Haven't watched any Hulu specific shows though. I mean, besides Handsmaid, I did watch that. I haven't watched it in a long time though. I did watch Legion. Legion was on FX.
Oh, yeah.
Legion, and we did Devs earlier this year as well.
Yeah, that's right.
God,
was that this year?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think that was kind of before the worst of things kicked in.
Oh my god.
Or it was in the midst of it when we had optimism.
It was definitely early on.
Yeah, July. Everything will be fine by July.
Oh my god.
It was not. Narrator. It was not.
But yeah, a lot there on the Hulu that seems interesting. So
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff. I got to kind of see what the early buzz is on certain things. Like Alien sounds cool, but I want to hear if it's good, before I invest in it. And that'll probably be the same for most of the things. Like if a lot of people start talking about it, it'll pique my interest more.
All right. Well, that's Hulu for you then. Moving on to ESPN. Not a whole lot here. Although one piece of news I think is probably a little bit... Well, actually, no, I was going to say it was going to be more exciting for Henrique, but I think it might be exciting for Andrew as well because he's now apparently a Georgia fan these days for some reason.
Oh, God.
Can't explain that.
Go Dogs!
How'd that work out for you this year? That's right. We lost LSU. It's fine.
It's all right. No one remembers that.
ESPN announced a milestone 10-year agreement with the Southeastern Conference. So the SEC football brand is packing up its shit at CBS and moving shop to ESPN starting in 2024.
Is that why I couldn't watch? I was like, I have the ESPN app. I know it comes with my Hulu or my Disney Plus, and I was sitting there trying to find the game. It was a pain in the ass to try to find the Georgia game. I understand why they just don't play all the football.
Most of the SEC stuff is CBS exclusive for now. So yeah, unless you have like CBS All Access or some other way to access it, then your ESPN's not going to be terribly helpful for you for the most part.
Yeah, see, I thought ESPN just had all the sports. Period. That's how ignorant
unless it's
I am
on the
with
SEC
sports.
network. The SEC network is, I think, an ESPN network. So there are some exceptions, but like the primetime shit usually goes to CBS. So. That means we will not have to listen to Gary and Vern be the worst announcers of all time anymore in a few years. So, it's something. It's something, I suppose. But beyond that...
Joe Buck. Fucking Joe Buck. Goddamn Joe Buck. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I feel like a dick.
I think you can get the quality of Joe Buck's commentatorship just by knowing the fact that this man's name is Joe Buck. You're not expecting high caliber content from someone named Joe Buck. It's just not going to happen.
I feel like it's almost the same level of commentary as when I play Madden. I've got Madden in the background. Oh, he really screwed the pooch on that one. Fucking John Madden.
Madden.
So, what a dick. Shut your mouth, Madden. Anyways, I digress.
Other ESPN stuff. Peyton's Place is getting another season. Never watched it. Tom Brady's getting a documentary series. Hell yeah, sounds great. No, I don't care. But maybe Enrique might. I don't know what your feelings are on Tom Brady now that he's with the Bucs. But
yeah, plus he's very MAGA.
He's a weird dude, if not. He's definitely a weird dude.
He's a good football player,
that's pretty
but
much it for ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I like? I like my homies from the Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes.
Dude is badass. I try to watch him every chance I get.
Dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he was a great quarterback. So anyway, Jaguars looking at that number 1 pick in the next draft. Hell yeah, thanks Jets. All right, that's enough sports talk for this. Also, not a sports podcast. Walt Disney Studios. That's more like it. I think that's the sort of content that we're looking for. Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures Productions. Okay, here we go. We're getting Hocus Pocus 2. Hell yeah, direct sequel to the cult Halloween classic. For anyone that likes
Cares.
it. We're getting a new Sister Act with Whoopi coming back. Whoopi Goldberg back on board as producer. Well, as producer, I guess she's not going to be.
She was in something recently, wasn't she?
She is going to be in The Stand.
That's right.
We saw her in the trailer for that. And then, of course, in terms of the bigger live action type things, we're getting a Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers live action animated film, like a hybrid thing with John Mulaney.
Interesting.
Get well. He just checked into rehab, I think was the news very recently. So hopefully that's helpful for him. And also Andy Samberg. So Chip and Dale with John Mulaney and Andy Samberg happening. We're getting a live action Pinocchio to be directed by Back to the Future's Robert Zemeckis, also the Polar Express's Robert Zemeckis, and Beowulf's Robert Zemeckis. So, we'll see which one shows movies. Up, but it will star Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks is always great, so that's awesome. Peter Pan and Wendy, we've talked about this on the podcast before. We're getting Jude Law as Captain Hook, and Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell. And then last but not least, in this particular front, we're getting a... I'm sorry, there's actually more to come. There was a block of a video, and then there was more information underneath that I didn't see. But anyway, we're getting a sequel to the film Enchanted called Disenchanted, with Amy Adams returning to the role of Giselle. And then outside of that, we're getting more Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Ice Age, Night at the Museum, animated forms of all those things, I should say. And then kind of the things that we've already known about previously announced type things, including Jungle Cruise, which was supposed to be out earlier this year with The Rock and Emily Blunt. Cruella, which is the Emma Stone 101 Dalmatians adaptation type thing, a Lion King prequel, and then the Little Mermaid adaptation. So lots going on the live action Walt Disney Studios front. So there's probably a lot in there. Maybe I should have paused in the middle for comment. But if there's anything that anyone is still thinking about, they're still
not to go
about,
back
please,
to Hulu.
Please say something.
I did see Hulu. I'm
He's
going
really
way
stewing
back.
about something.
The fucking Animaniacs. I saw a trailer for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I guess that wasn't released on Investor Day. But I'm really hyped about that.
I think the trailer came out well ahead of that. The show, I feel like it was supposed to debut this year. I mean, I'm not even sure if it might very well be out as we speak. I'm not 100% on that, but
I also think it would be cool. I mean, I don't know what's out now for like educational fun cartoons, but Night at the Museum I feel could be like an outlet for historical stuff for, and make it fun and cartoony and stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like Disney's really starting to ramp up production with the streaming service, and I think they're really leveraging their platforms. I think it's been a slow roll since they introduced the platform, but I guess these sort of things take time, especially since we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. Of course they'd probably have had, well, I don't know. I mean, like Mulan was obviously kind of a weird, let's dump it on streaming and make people pay more money for it kind of thing. And so, that probably wouldn't have come to Disney Plus until much later down the road if it had a proper theatrical release. But maybe Black Widow would be up there by now too. So, I don't know. I mean, they've certainly, 2020 has been a challenging year, I think, for most companies, and certainly ones that bank on traditional theatrical releases has been disastrous in some cases. But I think Disney's really reconfigured their priorities to basically say, streaming, barring, an actual legitimate apocalypse scenario, will be fine. You know what I mean? Like, we can put all of our stuff on streaming and people will be able to access it. They'll be able to watch it, and great. Let's do that. So
that's it.
Yeah. So, in terms of the Disney stuff, the few names that I threw out there, was there anything that caught anyone's eye or anyone's ear? I guess I don't know if they actually saw it, but
Pinocchio looks really strange. I think they released a trailer or something for that, didn't they?
Well, there's another Pinocchio film, so it's not the Disney one, but there is one that's I believe maybe an Italian film, where it's live action and it looks pretty horrifying in terms of just
it looked pretty strange,
the design of everything. But yeah, I think it's an Italian film that has yet to have an American release. So, of course, based off of the same original book, but
Oh, what was the other one? I'm excited for a live action Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I think a lot of potential there certainly. So,
there was another thing too I wanted to talk about.
See, this is why I should have paused.
I can tack it in on the last bit of news because it's actually not Disney related. It's just something we've been following for a long time. I saw news of. So,
okay.
Remind me before the end of the news because I'll forget.
Okay, Enrique, was there anything in the Disney live action front that you wanted to? I don't know if have any specific comment on.
If this new Pinocchio is like this Pinocchio that you just mentioned, not really feeling it. I'm just kidding. It's not nightmare fuel, but it's just slightly off enough where
close.
It's
no, it's just the wood texture on a human boy.
It's a little concerning.
Not good.
But I don't know. I feel like I
don't like it very much.
I still need to be sold on the Disney live actions. I kind of lost steam, mainly after Lion King. I still haven't even watched Mulan, even though it's on Disney Plus now. But I'll give that a shot. I wasn't, excited enough to pay $30 for it, kind of thing. But if Little Mermaid turns out good, maybe I'll be back on.
Yeah, well, I mean, you definitely made the right choice in not spending $30 on Mulan. It's fine, for now. Being included with your Disney Plus streaming service package, I think it's totally fine to kill a couple hours with. But yeah, it just, I don't know, not a $30 kind of movie. But anyway, we can move on to Walt Disney's animation studios and talk about Raya and the Last Dragon, which is also getting the Mulan treatment.
I'll pay $30 for it. Fuck it, I'm in.
Which it does look significantly better than Mulan does.
It interests me,
So yeah, this is coming out March 2021. It will be in theaters as well, of course. I mean, maybe if you're vaccinated and you're comfortable stepping foot into a theater, maybe that makes a difference in your decision making. But I think for the most part, people will plan to still be will hopefully plan to still be at home. And if they want to chuck $29.99 at Raya and the Last Dragon, they'll be able to do so. So it does look great. We got that trailer, I think teaser trailer, maybe a few weeks back. No, that was probably over a month ago at this point. I don't know how time works. Sorry. But it looks great. So I kind of agree in the sense that, yeah, I mean, if anything is going to make me pay, some extra money on top of the Disney Plus model, something like this certainly inspires more confidence than a Mulan live action, which looked fine, but was never the most exciting thing in the world or anything. So,
yeah, and I don't know, like, I'd love to see animation on the big screen. Don't get me wrong, I'll watch it in IMAX if that's available, but I think you could still get a pretty good experience at home. So, I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to pay money for that because that looks very good.
Yeah. And so, Walt Disney Animation Studios also announced a new upcoming feature film called Encanto, which will include new songs by Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Award winner Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Ooh, what's this thing called?
It's called Encanto. It will take audiences to Colombia, where a magical family live in a magical home. That didn't tell me anything about the movie. I really thought that was going to be more illuminating, but it wasn't. But November 2021 it's when it's slated for theaters. So
there's nothing on it.
Things are being okay. I mean, there might be something if you look at it. I'm not seeing anything just in terms of the source that I'm looking at, which again is just kind of straight from Disney. But we do know it'll be directed by Byron Howard and Jared Bush, co-directed and co-written by Charisse Castro-Smith. So I'm just not sure if we have any sort of concept art or anything like that. All right, Wikipedia is giving me a little bit more information on the plot. It's about a Colombian girl named Mariana who grows up as the only non-magical member in her family. So she's a squib in Harry Potter terms. So,
a muggle?
Sort of, yeah, kind of a muggle, but in a magical family. There's always that one. There's always that one that just doesn't get the magic.
Fucking squib. That's even worse.
It's a real shitty situation. I'd rather just be ignorant.
It's even worse than a muggle. That sounds way worse than a muggle.
Yeah.
You fucking squib.
Anyway, I myself, speaking for myself, I'm obviously in for Lin-Manuel Miranda alone. More music from him, yes, please. Sounds good to me. So yeah, there's that. And then to close sorry, Enrique, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything on that before I move on.
Nah, I mean, I'm also in on Lin-Manuel.
Maybe I should have said this 20 to 30 minutes ago, but feel free to just jump in if something really, really catches, catches you and you want to talk about it. But going back to kind of what you did talk about earlier, there were a few animated series announced kind of based off of previous Walt Disney Animated Studios productions. So 4 series that will be coming to Disney Plus include Zootopia Plus, Tiana, which is based off of Princess and the Frog, Moana, getting a series as well, and then Baymax, based off of Big Hero 6. Yeah. So
this all sounds
lots of series.
This all sounds great. I would pay $30 for a Moana TV show. Just a Moana TV show. I would do it.
Yeah, and my hope is that if they're, I find a lot of time, you have such great quality animation at the feature film level, and then a lot of times they'll do an animated offshoot, in the years kind of after that, but it's always at such a lesser quality. But I just kind of feel like Disney Plus often blurs the line between film and television. So my hope is that these can kind of retain that same quality of animation. I think that would be great. And certainly something like Zootopia is obviously a few years, Princess and the Frog is obviously a few years old at this point, but all of these are a few years old, I guess, at this point. But, they still look great. They still hold up. And I think that they could still do them right with that sort of technology. So,
yeah.
All right, I think we're down to the three biggest heavy hitters, I think, overall. So Pixar is also getting in on the TV game in terms of the Disney Plus series. They're going to be doing Inside Pixar Popcorn, which I think are all kind of behind the scenes type things overall. But beyond that, they'll be doing a Cars TV show and Doug Days, which will be an Up spinoff with Doug the dog, discovering the dangers of suburbia like puppies, fireworks, and squirrels. It was in all exclamation points. I didn't quite deliver it justice. I'm so sorry, Disney, that I didn't read your script that well. But yeah, the Cars series will be Lightning and Mater. I truly don't give a flying fuck about the Cars franchise, but great for those who do, obviously. In terms of what had been previously announced, the Luca is coming out about the friendship between a boy named Luca and his best friend Alberto during an unforgettable summer. Coming June 2021. We'd seen some art on that previously, and I think it looks great. So see how that translates to the final thing. And then two brand new feature films were announced. First one's called Turning Red, which is coming from Domi Shi, who did that short film Bao. I don't remember what it was in front of. But it was like the little dumpling boy.
Yeah. I forget
with Dumpling Parent. Dumpling Mom, I think.
Real tearjerker, that one.
Yeah, it was good. And so it might be first feature film, I'm not sure. But Turning Red is about May, who experiences the awkwardness of being a teenager with an added twist. Whenever she gets too excited, she transforms into a giant red panda. And so,
that's adorable.
It's kind of fun. They did put out a little bit of art for this, which looks very fun. It looks I don't know, somewhere between Ghibli and like Wallace and Gromit type level of styling, I guess. So kind of interesting though. But Turning Red is coming to theaters March of 2022, so that one's a good ways off. And then the last Pixar feature film announcement was for a sort of Toy Story prequel,
Infinity and Beyond,
in a sort of way. But so it's a movie called Lightyear. It's the definitive origin story of the hero that inspired the toy. So it's not quite Toy Story. It's taken it in a bit of a different direction. But Tim Allen is out. He's only going to be the voice of a toy. In his place, Chris Evans is on to voice Lightyear as he becomes the most famous space ranger ever. So that's fun. So yeah, I mean, that's Pixar. We got Turning Red, we got Lightyear, Luca coming next year, and then a couple of TV shows. So how's that all sound to you guys?
Well, Pixar rarely misses a step, and even the stuff that's like not interesting, it looks good. So I don't know. I'm all sold on Pixar. At first, I thought the Lightyear movie sounded weird, but then knowing that it's kind of set within the Toy Story world and it's supposed to be about a real Buzz Lightyear, sounds pretty cool. And I could see Chris Evans doing it, because at first I was like, this is going to be kind of weird, but if it's based on like quote unquote the real space ranger, then I could see it being a little bit different.
Does that mean that there were in the Toy Story universe, there's real space rangers?
Maybe. I mean, I guess, maybe it's one of those things where like there's a TV program in the Toy Story universe that is Lightyear, and then they made merchandising based off of that, and that's
I can see that.
That's the way I was thinking about it. And then Henry said there's like a real Buzz Lightyear. I'm like,
I guess,
fuck.
yeah. I don't know. If there is one, it'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, maybe those aliens at the Planet Pizza or whatever, like, maybe those are just based off of real aliens.
There you go.
That we've had encounters with, and people in the Toy Story universe are just enjoying a normal life. They're like, yeah, I mean, alien encounter that was so 2 decades ago. It's just normal life at this point. We're used to it. So
the Claw.
We make toys about them too. The Claw.
Toy Story.
So yeah, that's it for Pixar.
All right, so before we get into the heavy hitters, I pulled up my Chrome and I set it up so I would not forget in case you guys forgot.
Okay.
The Green Knight has a new and improved release date.
Yeah,
you motherfuckers! I bought
is it July, June, something like that?
It's July 30th, 2021. So we do have to wait.
All right, great.
Quite a bit longer.
A little bit, yeah.
But if we decide for a bonus episode to play the RPG that I purchased so long ago, we can do it. I have not played it with anybody, and I imagine I will continue not playing it with anybody.
I got the cards
and everything. Sitting very sadly on a shelf.
That's it. But July 30th is the Green Knight. It says A24. So
great.
Very cool. Anyways.
Shall be checking it out then.
Start the heavy hitters off with that.
Maybe playing some board games before then as well. So yeah, the heavy hitters. What we're going to do is we'll do Lucasfilm, which is largely Star Wars, but not exclusively. And then we'll jump into the Marvel stuff, and then we'll circle right back to Star Wars with our coverage of The Mandalorian. So Lucasfilm came to play. That's what I'd have to say about what they've been doing. So I am going to basically be tracking the Twitter as these announcements kind of came along on the day of. So this should follow the order of how they announce things. And one thing that I will say as a slight side note before I start getting these is that some of the things they've announced, in case you just happen to not have seen the announcements, you're totally walking in blind, which is possible, is that there are, I guess, slight character spoilers in terms of The Mandalorian. I'd say slight just in terms of characters appearing in that show and then now getting their own show. So I'm putting that up front. I'm disclosing it up front so that no one gets mad at me. But also they announced this 2 weeks ago, and also the episode in question aired like a month and a half ago as well. So maybe a month ago. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, all that said, let's talk about the good shit that is happening with Lucasfilm. Do you guys want to do Star Wars stuff first? Go in full in order, which is kind of mix and match, or do you want to get the non-Star Wars stuff out of the way first? How do you
non-Star Wars stuff first.
All right, you want to do all the Star Wars stuff in a row?
Okay.
All right, I gotcha. So 3 non-Star Wars pieces of news. One we actually already talked about, and this is just an official confirmation of that, and that's that Willow is getting a Disney Plus series with Warwick Davis back. John M. Chu directing the pilot, coming in 2022. I think that was the one piece that we didn't have already, that it was coming in 2 years' time. So very cool. That's awesome. Still haven't seen the original, so people love it. I'm sure they love it for a reason. I'll watch it at some point. And any thoughts on that? I guess at this point I will say most of the stuff is individually interesting enough that we can probably have opportunity for comments. Without me having to poke and prod and be like, I don't want to I want to say all this stuff on the record, but I don't want to move on without at least giving people.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so sounds neat.
No comment on that one.
I haven't seen it.
I mean, if you don't want to comment, it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm not pressuring anyone into participating. But all right, next up, Indiana Jones 5, the final installment of the Indiana Jones franchise, which, given Harrison Ford's age, is probably a logical thing to do, unless you want to bring Shia. No, don't bring Shia back. Shia sucks, as we now know.
Nah.
James Mangold is locked and loaded. He will, in fact, be the director of the final Indiana Jones installment, off the back of Logan and Ford v Ferrari. Harrison Ford's back. Indiana Jones will be back July 2022. So very cool.
I wouldn't be interested.
Sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't be interested if it wasn't for Mangold, because I don't know. Crystal Skull did not do it for me.
Well, they've always been on. We covered it. It's always been an on and off series.
It's based on whether it's odd or even.
It's true. So 5
assuming the same logic holds.
Method,
True. Okay. We'll give 5 a shot.
5 should be good. Otherwise, it breaks the streak, and that's just disappointing.
Yeah.
Last thing is Lucasfilm is developing an adaptation of the New York Times bestselling novel Children of Blood and Bone, written by Tomi Adeyemi. which is a coming-of-age adventure following a young African girl's quest to restore magic to her forsaken people, the Magi. I'm going to guess that neither of you know anything about this, but Anna has read the first book in this series and really liked it. She's been reading the second one, and she knew that an adaptation was coming, but I think that Lucasfilm was doing it in partnership with 20th Century Studios was kind of news. So it's pretty cool, when Lucasfilm, I think, ventures outside of the scope of Star Wars, because it does happen on occasion, of course, and it's usually pretty successful.
Is it a big series? Like several books?
I think it's maybe only 2 so far, with a third on the horizon. I think it's a planned trilogy, so I'm not sure that it's going to be a huge, long thing. But
it's.
I think the author's really young. I think she's in maybe her early 20s or something.
So it's approachable.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What is it? The Children of Blood and Bone?
Yeah. Children of Blood and Bone. Yeah, is the I think maybe Children of Virtue and Vengeance or something along those lines is the second book. So yeah, that's the non-Star Wars part of the Lucasfilm coverage. So we can dive into some of the other Star Wars goodies if you guys are ready.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, Mandalorian, they gave us a little sizzle reel showing us all the goodies from season 2. I won't talk about that because we're going to be talking about it very extensively before long. But season 3 of The Mandalorian's coming. They did say that, and it sounds like it's going to be airing in time for Christmas of 2021, which is awesome. Very excited about that. But it will not be the only live action series coming to Disney Plus. It will be joined by the likes of Rangers of the New Republic, a new original series set within the timeline of The Mandalorian, and here's where the character spoilers come in, Ahsoka, a new original series starring Rosario Dawson and also set within the timeline of The Mandalorian, coming to Disney Plus. So let's talk about those two, Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka TV show, live action. I mean, I don't know what the hell Rangers of the New Republic actually looks like. People assume that's the Cara Dune show, but Gina Carano sucks, so maybe they distance themselves from her a little bit, but we'll see, I guess. Thoughts?
I don't know. It seems neat, if it's a little bit more focused on the New Republic and, I guess they're not rebels anymore, but it could be cool, but I'll be watching it probably more so for the tie-in, at least for now.
So Rangers of the New Republic, it has to be like a it's got to be like
Walker, Texas Ranger, but
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like cops in fucking space. Right? I mean that's kind of like the way they were presented with in season 2. The way they were presented, right? Like, hey, we're the we're the
fighters,
new Republic, we're enforcing the laws, No spoilers, and I'm sorry if that was spoilery.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Rangers could be a very specific title, are they the Marshals? Are we getting space justified? You know what I mean?
Van coming back
with the Rangers of the New Republic.
See, I would like something like this,
Space Deadwood,
to be maybe not. Maybe almost like God damn it, I can't think of my words. I would like something like this to be more non-connected, new characters every episode, just like one-off episodes of people that are classified as like law enforcement or Rangers of the New Republic. I think that would be cool.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, instead of it following a certain set of characters.
Yeah, I think that would be a new, fresh take for a live-action show.
Yeah, I could see that. And especially because Ahsoka is obviously going to be the adventures of one character.
Right.
Right, and whoever else ends up in her principal cast, I guess. But yeah, Rangers of the New Republic, kind of hard to really gauge what that is, other than to say, obviously, it's within the timeline of The Mandalorian, and they announced that this is all going to cross over. Like, they'll cross over with each other.
Like
I don't know if they're going to do
Star Wars
like one big event finale type thing, or how they're going to do it, but there will be crossover between all these shows.
And question, didn't the New Republic get fucked on by the Starkiller base? Like, New Republic's totally done after...
Yeah, which is why this is within
yeah.
the timeline of The Mandalorian before it gets blown to hell.
They're like talking about, no, I think they've lost a couple planets. They're about to lose a couple more.
They lost like the core of their planets. Like they lost all of them in one movie. They lost everything.
Yeah.
So
They lost the whole system, I think. Wasn't that the whole point of Star Killer? Is there was more than just the planet killer?
Yeah.
it's like 5 planets. Everybody's just done.
Like,
the whole thing.
Like,
Boom.
I survived Alderaan. It's like, well, you're going to die now.
So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ahsoka, I'm not hearing a lot of reaction to Ahsoka.
No,
I mean,
yeah, I don't want it.
Ahsoka's
I don't,
right?
no, I don't
Ahsoka's
even
so
want
cool.
it. No, yeah, of course. Like, I feel like all the Clone Wars Rebel people have been waiting for live action Ahsoka, and now you get her own series. Like, don't know if Dave Filoni the official showrunner, or is he just like heavily involved? But I assume he's going to be very involved with this child, essentially.
I can't remember where I saw it, but it seems like Dave is going to be, heading up Ahsoka,
Right.
whereas Johnny V is going to be working more with the Rangers show.
Sure.
It's kind of. I mean, I think they'll both. I think both will probably be producers on both. I think pretty much everything to do with the Mandalorian and all of its offshoots will be Johnny V and Dave Filoni. For pretty much all of it. But Ahsoka is.
Did you finish Rebels?
No, I'm still working through Rebels. I've watched a few more episodes since
season
last
2
spoke,
now,
but I'm still working through it.
We're
in the second
2?
season.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Ahsoka has made her way into the show. So
Cool.
And so is Rex. So that's cool.
Yeah, Rex.
So I mean, I just Dave Filoni getting the opportunity to do a live action Ahsoka show, like that's the dream. I feel like for him to take that character from a maligned character in the early days of the Clone Wars to a beloved character by the end of the Clone Wars, and one that whose return in Rebels was a surprise, but a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And then to now make an appearance in a certain show, that's on Disney Plus that involves Star Wars. Who's to say? Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. I can't confirm that right now, but certainly to get her own show is awesome. Just really, really cool. And Rosario Dawson, is great. So that's really cool too.
I remember when Dave Filoni would show up to Comic-Cons or Star Wars celebrations with like different teasers, like Ahsoka Lives. I don't know if he had a question mark or like ... or something, and just like teasing us. And now to know that she's in live action with her own shows, it's all you could ever want.
Yeah,
she's a pretty badass character. She's really awesome.
Yeah,
you got to get some. Got to buy the twin Ahsoka lightsabers at the Disney shop next time.
Fun fact, I was, but the lightsabers that they have for her. Kind of like some of the other lightsabers that are there. Some of the lightsabers look like for example, the Darth Vader one's cast in metal, and it just looks real. Some of them look a little bit more cartoony,
a little plasticky almost.
Yeah, and it turned me off because that's the way hers looked. Hers looked cartoony.
I see.
Anyway.
Well, it's a bummer.
It's a bummer. Anyway,
it's a bummer. Next up, Andor, an original series set in the Star Wars universe, is streaming in 2022. Centered around the exploits of Cassian Andor before he gets vaporized, a la Rogue One. Basically, I think so. This is probably the first thing I think we can actually talk about in terms of things that we saw. There was a sizzle reel they put together for this, which is largely behind the scenes stuff. Talking to Diego Luna back as Cassian, got some concept art towards the end, but it's kind of about the founding of the rebellion, like the early days of the rebellion. Before they knocked off a couple Death Stars and took out the Empire and all that good stuff. And then obviously 30 years later, what was that all for? Because the New Republic gets blown to high hell too. But yeah, what'd you guys think about the sizzle reel, this show, anything along those lines?
Diego Luna seems, and maybe he has me fooled just by his public persona, but he seems like such a cool dude, like such a fun person. Like he just seems so excited about Star Wars. I saw another show where he was just talking about food and like sent a bunch of people food. I think it was on Netflix, but like he seems like a great dude, and his character was very interesting because he was a quote unquote good guy, but he had some dark things in his past. I mean, you meet him as soon as he offs somebody after getting information. So I feel like we might get a dark side to Andor, to see what he did for the rebellion.
Everything he did for the rebellion.
Exactly.
Everything I did.
I think following this is no secret. I think Mando is the most Star Wars thing we've had in a long time. But prior to that, I think that Rogue One was the most Star Wars thing that we've had in a long time. And so coming off of continuing off the characters from that movie, I think is awesome. I would like to and I'm an advocate for expanding the universe. Let's get some completely different shit that doesn't operate within these set years of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
I think that'd be completely great. I think that's awesome. But at the same time, expanding on these characters that aren't necessary, I don't know. I think that's really cool that they're expanding the scope of shows and characters from the most Star Wars shit that I can think of. I mean, I really like Rogue One. Rogue One was incredible, I thought.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I guess I will say just briefly, if you want them to expand beyond the scope of kind of the known timeline, you will be in luck. We'll talk about that in a couple announcements time. But just purely talking about Andor, I think they said in the thing that it's going to be 12 episodes, which is definitely longer than
huge.
Than the Mando.
Like in scope,
I mean, maybe
too.
it's 12 episodes and one and done kind of thing, but I don't know. I mean, the production values, like, basically that's what they stress is like, we're just making a fucking long ass movie, broken up into episodes. And, I think the founding of the rebellion is certainly an interesting thing. There's a huge gap of time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And we've seen kind of flashes of that with Rogue One, but that was literally building to the moment.
And where does it set? Nobody, I don't think
Hope.
there's any Star Wars content that is like, this is the start of the rebellion. Or is it a culmination of events?
Maybe near
is
Rebels.
There one particular...
Right? Like kind of somewhat with Rebels, I feel like there's the inklings of the creation of the rebellion.
That fits right into that. Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I guess Rebels is kind of dealing a lot with that head on. So that's probably like the one big thing that's really fit into that little timeline between Revenge and A New Hope. That's a good call. I should know about that, but I haven't watched.
Well, that's why we have Jedi Master
Henrique
here. So to make those calls.
Indeed. We are but Padawans, or maybe Jedi Knight. You're a Padawan. I'm a Jedi Knight. Let's be honest, but I'm just messing with you. You got a lightsaber. I'm a fucking Padawan. What am I talking about? So moving on to the next thing, which is very definitively going to be set in that time span as well, between Revenge of the Sith and between A New Hope. We have Ewan McGregor coming back for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but oh no, he will not be alone. He will be joined by Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader.
Hello there.
For a series that takes place 10 years after the dramatic events of Revenge of the Sith. So 10 years after Revenge, we've got Ewan McGregor, we've got Obi-Wan, we've got Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, and it sounds like the rematch of the century is coming.
Well, this is a little funky. I don't know about the... I mean, I don't want to get off in the weeds here, but have we had a discussion with how hard the Tatooine sun is on people? Like, it ages them, like...
He's got to age quite
unbelievable
a bit.
amount.
They're going to give Ewan McGregor some white hair to at least make it seem
holy
like he's
shit,
aging.
he ages hard in Tatooine.
When did Revenge of the Sith come out? That was definitely over 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So
but the problem is like Luke is like
2005, I believe.
Yeah.
Luke's 18 years old, and Alec Guinness is fucking
like,
60 or 70 years old or whatever he is,
He just has to age really quickly.
Yeah, move the fuck off of Tatooine. Tatooine is hazardous.
Those twins.
It's not good for your skin. I mean,
let's put it that way.
Thought
didn't wear any
for your
sunscreen.
skin? Yeah, you can get 2 suns in there, just fuck your skin up.
It is a good point though, because if this is 10 years after Revenge, like Ewan has to look older.
Yeah.
And like Hayden Christensen should theoretically either be buried in a suit most of the time or be buried under heavy makeup, heavy scarring, and like it doesn't really matter what Vader looks like in terms of aging because he's all fucked up looking. So what does it really make a difference? But yeah, you and they're gonna have to do something to make it look like this is 10 years after, and he looks like Alec Guinness in a few years.
Yeah.
All right, fine. But hell yeah, I mean Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, talking, putting those concerns aside, I think this is awesome. I think many people have been clamoring for an Obi-Wan show for ages, and now we're getting it. So that's very cool.
Oh yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what direction they take it, because I mean the whole point of him being on Tatooine was to be in hiding, and for him and Darth Vader to exist in the same space on Tatooine because he's on Tatooine to protect Luke. It's an interesting angle. I hope it's not just a cash grab.
Yeah, I mean,
because I
would assume he's getting off Tatooine at some point for this, and maybe just hopping back before the end of the series so that he can be back in place for everything else to happen. As
maybe,
but.
No, I'm sure, absolutely. I mean, it has to be. But I did receive the most. I as far as I'm concerned, with unless you wanted to have Obi-Wan Kenobi's adventures on Tatooine. Like, I'm completely content for Obi-Wan's story being put on pause until A New Hope after Rebels. Like, Rebels put a good, just staple in it for me. So, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I guarantee you I will watch it, and I can probably give you a 90% chance that I will probably thoroughly enjoy it. But I'm interested to see what direction they take that story.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. So... moving on to the next thing, we got a sneak peek at Star Wars The Bad Batch, the next animated original series from Lucasfilm Animation, picking up off of where The Bad Batch left off in those first few episodes of the Clone Wars. I think we had previously gotten some information on this, but we got a lot of footage here, and it's clearly taking place in a post Order 66 environment with Palpatine as Emperor and
Galactic
Bad Batch.
Empire.
Galactic Empire. yeah, that sort of thing. So, I loved the Bad Batch. I thought they were a super fun crew when we got to meet them in the first time. So I'm excited to spend a little more time with them myself. How about you guys?
Yeah.
No, that was a cool arc, and I think there were so many questions at the end, like what happens to them during Order 66, after Order 66. So it looks like we'll get some answers to that. It looks like they might even cross paths with Fennec. It looked like in the cartoon.
Yeah, we definitely saw that Fennec costume and helmet in there. So that will be very cool to see how that works with Fennec coming into play. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars Visions, an original series of animated short films, is going to celebrate the Star Wars galaxy through the lens of the world's best Japanese anime creators, coming in 2021. Star Wars Visions, anyone? Anyone up for that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah, this sounds...
The Star Wars anime?
Star Wars anime?
Yeah.
Sounds fucking cool to me.
Yeah, I'll take that.
They should do an episode. I'm sure he's not in it, but they should do an episode of pick any two characters, and it's Makoto Shinkai doing some kind of crazy like romance themed episode.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Who was this? I totally missed y'all's
your name director.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Have him do some like heart-wrenching thing.
Maybe a Studio Ghibli partner would be good.
Well, we would mysteriously not cover that episode.
We get around to it eventually.
You do a Porg
it's a
special.
2020 casualty.
Yeah. Or like Porg, the Porgs meet Totoro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be good.
A little crossover
there. Okay. The galaxy's favorite scoundrel, Lando Calrissian's coming back for Lando, a brand new event series for Disney Plus, which is in very early stages of development, but Justin Simien is the man hired to do the job of making this show. He's worked on Dear White People in the past. He's a creator of that show. So Lando's back. No word on who's going to be Lando.
Who's playing Lando?
But one hopes that Donald Glover will come back, and certainly people I think would love Billy D to come back if he's up for it. He's unfortunately Billy D is getting up there in terms of age, but he made a Rise of Skywalker appearance, so he's certainly still game for some Star Wars action.
Yeah, as much as I love to see Billy D. Williams, I'd rather see a young Lando show than the old Lando show. But I don't know. You know, we'll
the
see.
old Lando show.
I personally, I probably said it before, but I want it to be old Lando monologuing about young Lando's adventures. You know,
okay.
So you get both.
Back in my day.
Yeah, you get a little bit of old Lando frame story with Donald Glover kind of doing most of the action.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
That'd be good. So.
No.
And I also secondarily hope that this basically picks up the thread of where Solo left off, because we're obviously not getting a Solo sequel. And so, to me, using Disney Plus as an avenue to clean up any loose ends, you know, like Darth Maul just kind of showing up or whatever. I mean, I know Rebels obviously involves the character as well, but I just mean that Kira, you know, Emilia Clarke's character, there's a lot of stuff I think that they could explore with a Lando show. And so I hope that it goes in that direction, but I'm game. Lando's cool. You know, it's overdue for Lando to get his own little thing. So that's very cool. All right, winding down here, just a few more announcements. Leslie Headland is this is the thing I was teeing up for you, Andrew. She's creating a new Star Wars series called The Acolyte, which is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in, wait for it, the final days of the High Republic era. So we are now taking live action into a direction that has never been seen to date. The High Republic era.
The High Republic is a period.
This is a few hundred years before the prequel. So they're doing the multimedia project where books, comics, and stuff are all going to be High Republic focused, and that is launching, I think.
Which is a prequel to the Star Wars.
Very early next year, it's a few months. So it's a prequel set a few hundred years in advance of what we know as Star Wars.
Okay.
For sure. So it's not the Old Republic in terms of what the video games like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff covered. It's still a little bit more recent than that. Yoda is still around, but he's a few hundred years younger, that sort of thing.
That's cool.
And then most of the Jedi are presumably not alive at this point. You know,
so,
there's no Anakin, there's no Obi-Wans, there's none of those folks. So
essentially, what this is the Sith have been destroyed, and the dark side is not present in whatever this period of time is.
I think in no organized fashion, like the Sith.
That nobody knows, right? So they start to discover things. Ooh, and there's like an acolyte. That's cool as shit. I'll take that.
Right? No, that sounds crazy.
I am 110% on that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, and isn't the High Republic the era of where the Jedi kind of reigned supreme? Like there were Jedi everywhere. They weren't just knights, but they also, had all these other responsibilities and almost like patrol people too. Like, so I think this could be really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea, and this is the sort of thing that's going to be explored in those canon novels that are coming out, comic books and stuff like that, and this will kind of presumably fill in a pretty big gap of anything that those things don't cover. So I don't know, it's really cool that it reminds me of the Shadows of the Empire thing where they do everything but the movie, and then here now. Streaming and TV is such a big thing. Like, let's use that. We don't need to make a movie of it, but let's use it. Let's make a show about it. And continue the storytelling in this other way. I think it's just a very cool way of approaching things. So yeah, that is The Acolyte. We're getting a droid story, R2-D2, C-3PO, a little animated adventure, a little adventure film from Lucasfilm Animation and ILM. R2-D2 and C-3PO are very cool. That's very cool. I don't know if anyone has any significant thoughts on that, but I
got the impression that it was part animated, part live action, or part CGI or something. Like Kathleen Kennedy said something about ILM being involved in some way.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
not sure. I don't know. Yeah, they might have said something.
It was pretty vague.
I'm looking at the Twitter, which they're limited in terms of characters they can use, of course. So yeah, but that partnership does suggest that it's more than just animation. So yeah, I could see it being a little bit more than just a bog standard kind of thing. So yeah,
we'll see.
Taika Waititi is making a Star Wars movie. We knew about that. always, it's very cool. Very excited to see what happens with that. We have no new information other than he's doing it, which obviously is very exciting. And I think maybe the last thing for Star Wars is maybe the most exciting of them all. Maybe. And that is Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Film. Rogue Squadron's getting a movie to be directed by Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984's Patty Jenkins. Coming, I think, 2023, so a few years down the line. But this is this, along with the Taika movie, is kind of the next iteration of Star Wars live action films, theatrical releases, and there's not a lot of information of like when it's going to be taking place. Like it seems like it's going to be taking place in a post Rise of Skywalker era, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really care. Fucking X-Wings flying around and doing cool shit. Like, I want it. Patty Jenkins doing it. There was a very cool reveal video they had where she talked about how her dad was a fighter pilot. And
I did see that.
You know, she'd been searching for like the right project to kind of tell a story like that, and then lo and behold, it turns into fucking Star Wars. And I don't know, it was cool, you know. And Patty Jenkins is such an authentic and creative filmmaker. I think it's a big get for Lucasfilm to kind of be working with her on something like this.
You said this is a post.
It's really badass.
You think this is a post? Rise?
It's not entirely clear. It's not entirely clear, I think, when this is going to be set. I mean, like, traditionally, Rogue Squadron is original trilogy era, but, you know, X-Wing still exists in a sequel era, and so, you know, you could set it during that, you could set it during the original trilogy, or you can set it, you know, when you have free reign to tell a story you want to tell, and you're not constrained by the fact that, like, oh yeah, all these guys are going to die in this point later on, or like, you know, so... I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any definitive answers on when it's going to take place, but I remember seeing something that kind of suggested that it maybe is after the First Order is no longer a thing. So, which begs the question of who the hell they're fighting. So, I really don't know, but maybe it just ends up being an original trilogy one. I mean, I think that's probably the cleanest and most obvious thing to do, but certainly well-trod territory at this point as well. So,
I think it's awesome. You could do it like a fucking Top Gun.
Yeah. So what if they brought Tom Cruise in for this?
Holy shit!
Tom Cruise in Star Wars.
Man.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm always down for that. Hell yeah!
Tom Cruise flying X-Wing, just yelling at people.
Red leader standing by.
Yeah. And then he just ejects himself out of the spaceship, and it's like an actual scene of him in space, just like floating in space.
Yeah, I could take it. That's awesome. That'd be a big get for Lucasfilm.
Yeah. So that's it for Lucasfilm. This is probably a little bit more exhaustive. But I mean, there was they did not hold back on well, no, maybe they did hold back on one particular announcement. We'll talk about that later. But what they brought to the table was very exciting nonetheless, and bodes well for the future of Disney Plus, bodes well for the future of Star Wars. I mean, the future of Star Wars is on TV, or at least on streaming. You know, it seems to be the clear message, but they're not abandoning live action, certainly in terms of the film theatrical release arena as well. So very, very exciting. Lots of things to look forward to in the Lucasfilm front. And that brings us to the last of the Disney Investor Day. Maybe the thing that bumped that $178, $176, whatever it was, figure to $1,200 plus. And that is Marvel Studios bringing out the big guns. And making some announcements of things that have already been announced, and then bringing some new things to the table. So in order, let's start with the thing that's coming out very soon, January 15th, WandaVision. The first of the Marvel Studios Disney Plus shows is happening. It's coming. It is, it got a new trailer, if anyone happened to catch that. But it is only a few weeks away from now, and it looks as weird as ever, as interesting as ever, and I'm very, very excited to see what Kevin Feige and company have brought to the table with this one. So, what do you guys think of WandaVision?
I think it's really cool to explore the relationship between Wanda and the Vision. I think that's a really cool really cool area to dive into, especially since he's like the home of the soul gem, mind gem,
Mind Stone,
the mind, yeah, and also given that he's dead right now,
yeah. That's an important thing too. That's right. So yeah,
so
I think
how they handle that little nugget, and that might be.
What if the whole show takes place
inside his,
like in the time
inside her brain?
Yes, like in the time that there's like a second that they interact with each other, and the whole show happens within that snippet of a second. Or you dive into, because I mean this is before we get the Doctor Strange Wanda horrors of multiple universes or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's what it's called. That's the official title.
It happens before that. So what if this is like a way for them to explore Wanda's true potential, and like she just makes it so he never dies?
Shit, I think it's gonna be weird. Yeah, I don't know.
It's definitely going to be weird and out there. I don't know. There's no question about that. It's just really, I mean, the plot developments are, I'm expecting lots of sitcom-y episodes, and then like at some point it's just being like,
holy
hey,
shit,
isn't this a bit fucked that we're like in the 60s for some reason? And then like, oh yeah, that is a bit fucked, isn't it? And then weird things happen from that point. So I'm curious to see the sort of plot things that happen in terms of Vision existing or maybe not existing, and in terms of Wanda developing her powers or understanding her powers, and then obviously setting the stage for a Doctor Strange sequel. Like, what? That's a lot. So I'm very excited to see how it unfolds, and fortunately we don't have to wait long, although we will have to wait on a week-to-week basis to get the full scope of it. But yeah, that's WandaVision, and that brings us to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is coming out March 25th of 2022, with Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, Benedict Wong, Rachel McAdams officially back, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez. A new announcement there, directed by Sam Raimi.
What?
The film ties directly into WandaVision and the next Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
So lots going on there too, I would say. Very excited for that. Sounds out there. Sam Raimi's obviously, that's really cool. That's very exciting. So who knows what that's going to look like. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and multiple dimensions or whatever Andrew said the title was. I can't remember at this point, but
that sounds fucking cool. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
How could you not be all about that?
if you're Scott Derrickson, I guess you're not all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, you got a movie, and we'll see a different one. So
Yeah,
it'd be nice to see one director continue their vision. But I think this is gonna be interesting. It's very, very out there. It sounds like very multiple dimensions with the multiverse, and sounds like we might be getting a few Spider-Men in there. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Next up on the docket, Falcon and the Winter Soldier original series starts streaming March 19th. We got a date for it, March 19th, folks, only a few months away. And not only that, we got a first look at it, got some footage. My takeaway, speaking for myself, is they spent some money on this shit. Like this is just film quality shit that they're putting on Disney Plus.
That's what that's exactly what they're putting on Disney Plus.
They're just fucking movies. They're just putting movies on there. They're just like, yeah, I mean, we just made a movie. I mean, made a 5-hour movie and split into a few parts. No big deal.
Because we're Disney.
Looks awesome.
Fuck.
Mackie, Sebastian Stan, great chemistry. It's going to be fun to see them back together. A little weird, with the absence of Chris Evans, but I don't know. It just looks awesome. The action looks good. The premise of it, I guess what we know about it, seems very interesting. So I'm very, very excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And Baron Zemo.
Yeah, he's
Baron
in
Zemo back. Yeah. That's right. Sharon Carter back. U.S. agent coming into the fold.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it all
Dope.
mean?
What's it
We'll
all
find out
about?
in March.
We'll find out in March.
What was it? What was it all about? What was that shield? What was it all about? It looks great. I'm very, 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 very stoked about it. If I could say one word about the footage that we got for Loki, an original series from Marvel Studios coming in May of 2021. Also,
Oh, my
only a few
goodness.
months away. If I only had one word to say, it would be
Wow.
wow.
Talkie.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Owen Wilson, joining.
Kudos to his
you
fucking
know.
agent getting him a fucking Marvel bid. Like,
Yeah, I just thought I'd make a movie without Vince, and my agent said, "You want to do this thing? It's about this god. He's kind of a god." And I said, "Yeah, I'll do that. That sounds pretty good."
wow.
Wow.
Wow, that sounds good.
This looks really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks so out there and interesting, and fucking Loki is apparently DB Cooper.
Right? Did you see that? You caught that at the end? Okay. That's why we never found him. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks really, really interesting and fun and weird, and that's the sort of thing. I mean, God, if there's one thing I love about like unbridled Kevin Feige, like he is unchained by the corporate machine. Like at this point, like Disney is content to just write this man a blank check and say, make the shit you want to make. And like he just hires people that just go off on their weird little things. And like Loki is like, yeah, we made 20 movies, we made a few $1 billion, no big deal. I'm just gonna make this weird shit. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to see. And Loki, to me, is kind of almost maybe the pinnacle of that. Like this is maybe the most interesting thing I think that we actually got footage of for me, in the sense of like, wow, they're just going for it. And,
I will beg to
Tom
differ with
Hiddleston's
you,
great.
sir.
Loki's great, but
There's another
you have
one.
something that you liked more. Okay.
But this did
Maybe
look
it's the
very
next thing.
compelling. I'm very excited about this.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see what you're really jazzed for. But any other thoughts on Loki before we get to the next thing, which I suspect is the thing you're talking about?
No, like I thought the footage of this looked great. I was peaked at a Loki show, but now I'm all in.
Yeah. Well, I think Andrew might be all in for space, time, reality.
Yes.
I can't do a Jeffrey Wright voice because only Jeffrey Wright can do a Jeffrey Wright voice, but he's the watcher, goddammit. And What If, an original series from Marvel Studios coming summer 2021. Am I correct?
Yes.
Am I correct, sir? Is this the one?
This is the one that gave me
First
goosebumps
look
twice.
at What If.
It gave me
Oh, yeah?
goosebumps twice. Watched it the first night. It revealed. I was like, holy shit. Watched it again. Gave me goosebumps again. I like the idea of short little serials, I think is what you can call them. Just little one-off adventures. And there's a lot of Doctor Strange activity going on in this. And I think
Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange from the looks of it.
and like it's animated so cool. The concepts are so cool. You got Jeffrey Wright as like an ominous being that just like guides presumably Doctor Strange or the viewer through these different realities, and so it sounds fucking awesome. You get zombies in there.
Yeah,
We
Marvel
got Zombie Cap. We have T'Challa, Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, I think, will be making his last,
Oh man,
at least appearance as a Black Panther, certainly.
And how
in What
badass
If,
is
and probably his final credited role.
Peggy as like a Captain America or Captain Britain or whatever she is.
yeah.
Captain Britain. Yeah, we got a little Steve and some Iron Man looking armor.
It's
So
awesome.
very cool. And I think that we haven't seen all of what the episodes will be, so there's still some surprises, I think, to come. Because this thing has like a ridiculous voice cast. It's like 90% of the talent that they'd have assembled for the MCU at large have come back for this.
That's amazing.
So
That's going to be so cool.
I think it would be really cool. And this is the kind of show to me that like each episode's its own thing. This is the one I don't mind waiting week to week for because it's not so serialized in terms of the storytelling. Like each week you just get a little tale. You sit your little happy ass on the couch, turn on your little Disney Plus, you watch a little What If and say, yeah, that was pretty cool. What if they did that? Yeah, that would be pretty neat. I wonder what they'll do next week. That's
and you don't know. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen next week.
Could be literally
the
could be
only
literally
critique
anything.
the only thing that I think would be cool about this show is, and it didn't look like that's the case, which is totally fine, but is if every week with a different reality, you got a different animation style. I think that would be fucking cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't seem to be the case, but that would be neat. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Mm-hmm. And anyway, we're looking forward to What If. I think it'll be very cool. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is in theaters July 9th, 2021, and it will probably make its debut then because production has just wrapped on it. So we're getting Shang-Chi, as us white folk like to say. But Kevin Feige said Shang-Chi, so I'm just going with what he said. Simu Liu is in as the main character. Tony Leung's playing the Mandarin. We got Aquafina in there.
I forgot this was
Michelle
the thing.
Yeoh, Ronnie Chang. Yeah. I mean, this isn't previously announced. I mean, they've shot the damn thing. The whole thing. They've wrapped on it. They it's in the can. They got it. They got to work on the visual effects, and I think it'll be really cool. I think it'll be very cool. So. Thoughts on Shang-Chi before we move on to some of the other things we don't are getting new information on?
I think the martial arts is going to be so cool because I saw him post just like a video of like that he filmed with his friends Simu Liu, and he like the fighting was really cool. Like, obviously it was like edited and whatnot, but just from like a little snippet, it looked like The Matrix meets some old kung fu movies, and I
That's
think
cool.
With a big budget, this is gonna have some cool martial arts and fight scenes.
And we'll make us forget that Iron Fist existed.
Yeah, this would be the Iron Fist that we wish we had.
Miss Marvel is coming to Disney Plus in late 2021. We got a sizzle of this featuring some footage from the damn thing, which just started shooting only a few weeks ago. Iman Vellani is Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and it's a pretty big milestone for Marvel to have. I think it's technically a Pakistani American character as its lead. This is a hugely popular recent Marvel Comics character that is taking the leap from the page to the screen. And what we saw looked good. Not much to go off of, but I think just it being a thing and the fact that it's happening is all very exciting. And there's some news to follow on to this that maybe will make it more exciting. But in terms of what we saw, any thoughts on that?
What are her powers?
She's stretchy, mostly. She's mostly stretchy.
Okay. She makes like giant, like she turns like different parts of her bodies bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. She'll make like a giant fist and punch you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what's also cool is that Brie Larson's back as Carol Danvers in Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel 2, directed by Nia DaCosta, and alongside her will be Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel and Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau.
There you go.
So we're getting some people to join Brie as Captain Marvel.
That's cool.
We're getting two characters we're at least one character that has been Captain Marvel in the comics, and Monica Rambeau, and another character that has been heavily inspired by Captain Marvel in the comics and clearly the show from the looks of it. So that's awesome. Looking forward to Captain Marvel 2. Wonder if they'll change the title. I don't know if that's a placeholder or not, but cool nonetheless.
Captain Marvel 2, Miss Marvel 2. Because it's a sequel to that show too.
Yeah, they might do that. That'll be good. Not confusing at all. Makes a lot of sense. She-Hulk is coming to the MCU.
Fuck yeah.
Tatiana Maslany has been officially confirmed as Shulky. And she will be joined by Tim Roth, reprising his now decade-plus old role as the Abomination, and Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk himself, will make an appearance.
Oh my goodness, that is incredible news! I'm excited about that. This show is going to be awesome.
I'm excited. They've described this as a half-hour legal comedy, which is like awesome. I love that.
Because she is a lawyer, right?
Very, very excited.
Right.
She's a lawyer. Yeah.
Who doesn't
totally
like she doesn't
sense.
change shade or anything when she goes into the courtroom. She's
like herself. Yeah.
Hulk.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the comic book iteration, but there are iterations where she's just basically permanent She-Hulk, and she's fully in court representing as She-Hulk. And I don't know if they'll take that approach. Maybe that'll be too expensive to make, but yeah, that's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Moon Knight. We talked about Moon Knight a little bit already. It's coming.
Poe Dameron.
Curiously absent from the announcement was Poe Dameron, which to me suggests they're probably still working on the contract with Oscar Isaac. I mean, there's no reason to think that he's not going to be involved, but clearly whatever they're working on was not a done deal. So he was absent from the announcement of the Moon Knight series. But the Moon Knight series is still happening one way or another. So we certainly hope that Oscar Isaac will be headlining it.
Yeah.
That obviously is
pay that man his money.
such a huge get, but
we need him.
Pay him his money. I mean, Disney's got the money for it, so just do it. I agree with that. As long as he's got the time for it. He's a busy man, obviously. So, but yeah. All right, now we're getting into some new announcements here. 3 new series coming to Disney Plus. First of which is Secret Invasion. Samuel L. Jackson's back as Fury. Ben Mendelsohn's back as Talos. It's Secret Invasion. The Skrulls are coming. Oh my God. Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
I wonder how big this is going to be, because Secret Invasion is like a huge arc.
Right. Yeah.
And are you getting the whole Avengers?
Sir,
I'm sure you could change it up.
Sir, did you mean that this is Avengers 5 and you
right.
fucked up and this isn't a Disney Plus series?
But no, I assume it'll be a little bit more, take over some S.H.I.E.L.D. people, take over, other big profile people, maybe not fake Captain America and whoever else, but
I mean, I imagine the scale translation will be comic book Civil War to movie Civil War of it's kind of the same idea, but like one's at an airport, one's like a big thing where people are killing each other left and right, so a little different.
Right.
A little different. So that's Secret Invasion. Dominique Thorne is going to be genius inventor Riri Williams in Ironheart, an original series about the creator of the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. Iron Man's dead for all of a year, and we're already getting a replacement. This is some SJW bullshit if I've ever heard it. No, I'm just kidding. This is fucking awesome. Love it. Very cool. This is a super recent character too, so this is a super fast turnaround. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Don Cheadle's back as James Jamis. The name James is really throwing me for a loop right now. It's not like I've ever seen that name before. Don Cheadle's back as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, in Armor Wars, an adaptation of a classic Marvel story about Tony Stark's worst fear coming true. What happens when his tech falls into the wrong hands? Sam Rockwell back as Justin Hammer, or I riot. That's all I'm saying right now.
Do it.
Okay. Any thoughts on those two? I'm just kind of blazing through because I'm realizing, oh God, we've been here for a while.
We've got 2 hours worth of news. I just looked into it.
Yeah, sorry, folks.
It's good stuff.
Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Yes.
James Gunn's back to write and direct. Coming 2022, the Christmas before we will get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Hell yeah. If it's as good as the original Star Wars Holiday Special, I'm very much in. If it's as good as the Lego one, I'm fine with that too.
If there are no musicals, I'm out. I need at least 2 musical numbers. I need
a Jefferson Starship music
and
video.
I need an I Am Groot whole song where he just says I Am Groot in different tones. But
well, if you want I Am Groot, why don't you just watch a series of shorts on Disney Plus featuring several new and unusual characters called I Am Groot, an original series from Marvel Studios. You just do that. You just do that.
Or I'll have them both. Give me both.
Okay. Well, I'm going to also give you Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Christian Bale is a crazy man, but I love him for it. Mostly.
It turns out Christian Bale will actually be turning into a God Butcher for this film in preparation for it. So no word on what his regime is going to look like.
He'll play a lot of Huey Lewis
for the role, but it's going to involve a lot of murder. Let's put it that way.
And Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis is good murder in music, that's for sure. All right. Peyton Reed's back on board for Ant-Man 3. Or should I say Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Quantumania. That's a word, isn't it? Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer all back. Catherine Newton.
I feel like Paul Rudd... I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah. What about Paul Rudd?
I was going to think Paul Rudd came up with the title of this movie.
Maybe.
You guys just stick the word quantum in front of everything? Yeah, they do, as it turns out. Catherine Newton is joining the cast as Cassie Lang, which marks our third actor that is now taking on the role of Cassie Lang, but a little bit more experienced one here than we saw in Endgame, I suppose. And Jonathan Majors is Kang the Conqueror, as we've talked about previously. That is officially confirmed. So, Quantumania, I think Kang is going to murder everyone in sight because why is he in an Ant-Man movie? I still don't know. We'll find it out, but...
You're gonna have to
what is his deal?
You're gonna have to trap him in the quantum realm.
In-depth analysis of Kang the Conqueror. What is he? What does he do? What's his deal?
He's a giant conqueror from the future. Man, you can't beat him because he like comes from the year like 3000 or something, like, and he like knows all the Avengers, but like has crazy space tech, from thousands of years in the future.
Yeah, he's a time traveler whose technology it's just unfair.
What's his goal? He just wants to go into the past and be a ruler with his superior technology.
I forget why he travels back to the past, if just to conquer or to change something or what.
Because he's a descendant of Reed Richards, right?
Right, that sounds right.
Yes. Yeah. Kang the Conqueror has been various characters throughout comics, and I mean, some of that was kind of retroactively, kind of like this character was Kang before he traveled through time and became Kang type thing. But yeah, he's a descendant of Reed Richards, time traveler, notorious time traveler, and fucker up of Avengers. I think is probably a good way of putting it.
Okay, all
which
right.
It's just having technology from
thousands of years,
millennia in the future, like just that'll do it right there. So I don't know what his deal is going to be with Ant-Man. Like Paul Rudd's going to be like, I don't get paid enough for this shit. I'm fucking leaving. Right. You guys got this. I don't got.
You can have it, Kang. I don't want it. You can have it.
I just want to hang out with my daughter. I'm a simple man. But perhaps the Ant-Mans and the Wasps will seek help from the first family of Marvel, the Fantastic Four, who are set to be introduced in a new feature film that will be directed by Spider-Man, the eventual
Sam
Spider-Man
Raimi.
trilogies. Not Sam Raimi, but John Watts. John Watts of Homecoming and Far From Home fame. And yeah, he's doing the upcoming third Spider-Man film, and then he's going to be doing Fantastic Four. Will they get it right?
I think they will.
I have my hopes. I have hopes.
I think this will be the most incredible Fantastic Four we've ever seen.
You heard it here first.
I mean, I feel like yes, exactly. I feel like the bar is set quite low, but I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna nail it, and I think once they nail Fantastic Four, I think you have to think the stage has been set for them to nail Fantastic Four. They know how to write a Fantastic Four movie. They know how to do it. And I think once you really get a strong Fantastic Four, the entire rest of the phase or the rest of the second phase or whatever, the phases to come are just going to be ridiculously freaking good.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four is so essential to like comic books and Marvel.
Right.
That I think once you can include them, you really have something. And don't get me wrong, we already have something special. But I think it transcends what we already have. I think it'll be really something awesome. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. And I don't even think it's that hard in comparison to what they've done. I mean, they've made 3, very different Captain America movies. They made 2 movies about Ant-Man. Like, they made Thor comedy with Hulk. Like, I think this is totally doable by Marvel Studios to make a good Fantastic Four movie. So I would be shocked. I would be shocked if this is bad.
Yeah,
they've made this movie at least twice.
It's finally in the hands of Kevin Feige. It's finally in the hands of Marvel Studios after many years of people clamoring for it. And I have to imagine Kevin Feige thinking, like, in the back of his head, like, if I get my grubby little mitts on those guys there, I'm gonna fucking make it worth it. You know, make it worth people's while. And I just need it to be good. I just need it to be good. I need good Fantastic Four. I need a Doctor Doom that is properly translated. Yes. I need it. I need a Galactus. I need a Silver Surfer. You know, I need an Annihilus maybe sometime down the road if they're feeling adventurous. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I need all of these things that have such amazing, maybe limitless kind of potential in terms of adaptation quality and stuff that should unlock you know, a corner of the universe that, like, you know, we've done Thanos. Like, where do you go from there? Like, you've got so much potential between Fantastic Four and the X-Men, which they didn't say anything about X-Men, to be fair, but, like, there's so much stuff now that they have so many directions they can go in, and I think that they have now basically the clout to do whatever the hell they want with as much money as they want. Like, bring it on. It's their, you know, game to lose at this point, really, I would say. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting excited about Fantastic Four. Someone else say something.
No, let's do it. Like this, I'm excited to see casting. I think the next big thing is going to be the casting decisions about who plays who. So I'm looking
to see a Doctor Doom, though. A fucking serious Doctor Doom going toe to toe with like a Doctor Strange or something. That would be fucking incredible.
As I say, if Matt Mikkelsen's wasn't in Doctor Strange, just bring him in for that, or just change his face or whatever. Like, people have played more than one character.
I'm sure these rumors were entirely baseless, but I did see someone or something suggest Giancarlo Esposito as a Doctor Doom, which, you know, certainly an untraditional in terms of, you know, who you'd expect to take that role, but fuck, cast Giancarlo as every villain ever. We'll talk about him when we talk about The Mandalorian eventually. It will still happen eventually, I promise. But yeah, I don't know. Just an idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wind down. I think we have two more things to talk about, and then we can in fact do that Mandalorian coverage that I just alluded to. Hawkeye's getting a show. It's filming right now. Jeremy Renner, everyone's favorite musician, is on board.
Jeremy Renner.
What is it? Like? I can't even do it. But it's one song. Just look up his music. Heaven don't heaven. I don't know what it is. I don't know. They're all bad. He's a better actor than too many times, musician.
They're all real bad. Just stop making music, dude. It's fine. I don't need it. No one needs it. He's going to be teaming up with Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld. Come on, she's great. She knows how to do music and she knows how to act. Just let her do it. It's fine. So that's awesome. It was a weird cagey thing where, like, Marvel refused to announce Haley Steinfeld being involved in this project, despite there literally being set pictures of her on set with Jeremy Renner. It's just like, is she just standing in? Like, she's a super famous person who commands a multi-million-dollar salary. Is she just hanging out for shits and giggles? Like, what's happening here, kind of thing? But anyway, she's part of it now officially, so that's very exciting. Vera Farmiga is going to be in it as well, and a cast member from Black Widow will also be involved. I'll say that. I don't know if it's a spoiler to say. I don't want to say anything too spoilerific in case people don't already know. But a cast member from the upcoming Black Widow film, which should have been out now 7 months ago. Yes, that's correct. 7 months ago, I said that correctly. So there's that. There's Hawkeye. I guess I lied. Two more things. They updated Blade, saying that it's happening. Mahershala is still on board. Great, awesome. They're searching for a director. They should have an announcement shortly. And last but not least, I think probably the biggest announcement in terms, beyond just announcing new things in terms of projects and stuff like that. Kevin Feige reconfirmed that Black Panther 2 is coming in a couple of years' time. Ryan Coogler is still on board to write and direct. and they made the announcement that the role of Black Panther, I guess really the role of T'Challa, will not be recast. There will not be a T'Challa featuring in Black Panther 2 after Chadwick Boseman's unfortunate passing, which is a very respectable decision, I think.
That's good. I
an
like
incredibly difficult decision to make. I mean, just an awful position to be in for all parties involved, whether you're involved in the making of the film or whether you want to see the story of T'Challa get continued based on the legacy of the character in the comics. Like, it's not an easy decision to be made. And so pretty much any way they took it, I was going to be respectful of. And if this is how they want to kind of pave the future for the Black Panther character, then I think that I got to defer to the best judgment of Ryan Coogler, to Kevin Feige, to anyone that's going to be working on this film, that made over $1 billion. There was never a chance that a sequel wasn't going to happen, but what form it takes now is just such an open-ended question. And of course, everyone's just like, just make sure a Black Panther, and you have Letitia Wright being a fucking dumb shit on Twitter. So what are you going to do, I guess? There's no perfect solution, I guess, but they'll figure something out, I'm sure. So anyway, that's kind of big news, obviously, I think.
No, like, it's such a tough thing to have to replace Chadwick Boseman, like, just a legendary presence as Black Panther. But if anyone can do it, it's Ryan Coogler. So, I'll leave it to his hands and the rest of the Marvel group.
They know what they're doing. I do think that is the right call, though. Allow there to be one Black Panther. You know what I mean? I think that's
except for you.
Except for you. I think you've relinquished that title at this
Ryan,
point, but yes.
Give me a call. I can be whatever you need me to be. Maybe not. Just let it. No, I take it back.
Black Panther 2, White Panther. This will surely go over well.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Probably not. You're right. It's probably not a good idea.
I do like that. I do prefer this though than to a recast. So,
it's one of those things. You're always going to draw comparisons if you get recast, and for better or for worse. I honestly wouldn't. I don't envy the people that would have to make the casting decision, nor do I envy the person that would have to fill those shoes. You know what I mean? Of just being like, you might be the best actor in the world, but you're not going to be Chadwick. It's just not going to happen.
No.
You can't do that. And so you either just do your own thing and people hate it or they like it, or you try to replicate it and you're a carbon copy and it's just not the same, So, like I said, I think for the legacy of a character like T'Challa, who has been around in the comics for decades now, it's obviously an unfortunate situation to have to kind of curtail the storytelling choices that you have available for that character by virtue of not recasting. But you got to cope with the realities of what things are. And the MCU doesn't have to be the comics. It doesn't have to be beholden to everything that happens in the comics. We got an amazing film with T'Challa as the lead. We've got T'Challa and a couple Avengers, I guess, in Civil War and a couple Avengers movies.
I just think the historical impact that Chadwick Boseman had as the Black Panther stands for so much in the medium of film to reserve his place as that character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is what it is. You got to make the hopefully the best.
What's
of the bad
the girl
situation.
with the tiger paws shooting them out?
Shuri. Yeah.
Just make her do the thing.
Yeah, make it so.
See my point from 5 minutes ago, which that totally makes sense. But then you're making an anti-vaxxer your lead. So what are you gonna?
Oh, she's an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, well, it's pretty popular sentiment these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, so is flat Earth. I don't believe the Earth is round. That's a common thing.
There you go. Hot takes.
All right, folks, let's wind this down. Disney Investor Day. It brought us a lot of goodies. It brought us enough goodies to talk about the shit for basically 2 hours. Now we got to talk about the other goodies that Disney Plus brings us, that Disney brings us in the form of Disney Plus, I guess I'll say, and that is The Mandalorian.
Let's talk about it. I've waited too long.
Let's finally talk about The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian Season 2 a Disney Plus original series created by the one, the only Johnny V. Jon Favreau, starring Pedro Pascal and a puppet and some other people that we'll talk about in spoilers. The Mandalorian continues his travels around the galaxy in search of fulfilling his quest to reunite the child with his people, the Jedi. I know we talked about this show. Andrew and I did. I guess I can't speak for Henrique at this point, but season 2, it comes maybe only a year or so after season 1 debuted. We really didn't have to wait long. We were very fortunate, whether it was technology related or not, that COVID didn't throw this show kind of off its wheels, and so we were blessed to amidst these trying times have a season 2 debut and finish all 8 episodes of it. We've seen it. Maybe we enjoyed it. I guess we'll talk about that momentarily, but I think a lot of the things that we're going to talk about are probably going to be similar in nature to what we talked about on season 1. But having said all that, I do at least want to turn it over initially to Henrique because I don't know if we had a chance to talk to you about season 1. So, how do you feel about the show in general? Is season 2 kind of the same ilk? Do you think it upholds the same quality? If you believe there was, in fact, quality from season 1, you're here to talk about it. You're a Jedi Master. You're probably a little biased, and it's not going to lie. But, what do you think? The Mandalorian, top to bottom, season 1 to season 2, what do you got for us?
I mean, season 1 was great. You guys covered it in the podcast, but it was each episode for the majority of the show was kind of its own thing, and then it kind of all came together at the end, so that was nice. So I think going into season 2, having a little bit more of a focused narrative was nice, because even the episodes that don't advance the general story forward that much still do in some sense. So even though there's I don't want to call any episode of The Mandalorian filler, but they're kind of like side quests, I guess. Even though there are somewhat of side quests in this one, they all still kind of connect together and you can't take them out. So in comparison, I think season 2 is a little bit tighter. So even better than season 1. And, I want to get to the spoiler content because I think that's where the meat of our conversation is going to be. And, season 2 does some good stuff. If anything, I think this was the blessing on a dark year. Without Mandalorian, season 2, I don't know what we do this year.
I feel that.
I'd also like the record to reflect that Henrique is currently sporting a Christmas sweater featuring the one, the only, the child, Baby Yoda, Yiddle. Maybe he'll be known by another name. We'll talk about it in some time. And I'd also like to do a little striptease for Henrique and Andrew and show them what I'm wearing underneath this little flyer.
We'll describe this for other listeners.
The one, the only.
Oh, wow, look at that.
The child
Got a little,
with...
I know our listeners can't appreciate this section whatsoever, but it's a little
with the silhouette,
Mandalorian action.
With the silhouette of the Mando in the shadow of the child, though. That's...
So I was also going to have something I could show off, but it did not arrive here in time, and that's my
What'd you get?
8 LP album of
the Mondo one?
The Mondo record set, right? It was
you went in on that. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome.
Was that season 1?
It was only season 1,
2?
Yeah, but it was 8 fucking albums, and it looks incredible.
It's an LP for each episode.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it looked incredible.
Like
it was supposed to be here today by 9:00, and I got up 40 minutes ago, and it was not there. So I guess it's late. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if it's the post office that's delivering it, good luck.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. Although I won't trash FedEx. They brought me a very nice package today.
The other carriers are doing okay. They've had better days, but they're doing okay. Andrew, season 2, does it stack up to season 1? We both love season 1. No secret about that.
Yeah, so I think...
hear us yab about season 1, they can go listen to that episode where we talked about it for a couple hours. What does season 2 do for you?
So season 2, I think season 2 of the Mando, I love season 1, but I think season 2 was a little bit more consistent with at least the pacing of their episodes. I don't want to say the quality, but I did enjoy the pacing of this season much more than the pacing of season 1. And I think that's due in part to the fact that they seem like much more connected episodes. Right. It was one line with his trajectory as a character or with, just the goals of season 2. Season 2 also had higher highs, I think. Season 2 had some very fucking high highs. And it is the most Star Wars shit. It is just... I think all of it is just the most Star Wars shit.
Yeah.
And some of it is more Star Wars... Like, some of it is brutal. Like Rogue One brutal. Like, when Darth Vader comes in there and just, like, owns people. And I just, when Star Wars gets brutal, it's just a whole nother level of brutal. I don't know what it is.
It's just the way you can use your force powers. It's almost like watching The Boys, like using superpowers.
God, it just can, even when it's not like forced, even like when it's got nothing to do with like, just with people kicking ass in Star Wars, it's just so good. I really, really, really like season 2. And it's got some really cool shit. I mean, I have no other way to say it. I mean, it's got the coolest Star Wars shit that I've seen in a long time, and it is most authentically Star Wars. Very, very cool. Very cool show. Colton, what do you think about season 2?
Yeah, I hated season 2. No, I'm just kidding. It was fucking awesome. No, it was amazing. It week in, week out astonished me with pretty much everything that it did. And, it's interesting because I do think each episode really does feel like its own distinct separate episode, but the storyline itself is kind of where it got a little bit more serialized in terms of like, I've got a quest. I must complete this quest. And it's like, oh shit, I went to this place because I wanted to do this one thing. And then this asshole's asking me to do a side quest for him. I'm like, fine, I'll do your fucking side quest. But then I really got to do my main quest after that. It still has a bit of that video gamey type structure that season 1 had, but it's all in service of a bigger purpose. And I think that bigger purpose is what drives this series at this point is, you love Baby Yoda. You want good things to happen for Baby Yoda. You want him to be reunited with his people. And that's what Mando's been quested to do. And, that takes Mando on a set of adventures that are, set across different, biomes, different types of environments. It lets him have the opportunity to run into some different characters and some very exciting characters at that. Each episode just brings something unique and fun to the table, and I think that, I absolutely think this is the best Star Wars content we've gotten in years' time. And season 2 does I've seen people refer to season 2 as, nostalgia bait or, just kind of, something that's just so wholly reliant upon, like, remember this in Star Wars? To me, it feels like it's taking the Mandalorian from something that really, worked on its own merits, was content to kind of be its own thing, and then it's just kind of building that up into like a bigger Star Wars mythos. And for me, as someone that loves Star Wars and even the bads of Star Wars, the prequels, the Rise of Skywalkers of Star Wars, like I still think the holiday specials of Star Wars, let's not forget about that. The way that the Mando is approaching its storytelling, to me, it still feels authentic to what the Mandalorian always set out to be from day one, but it's just building on that. And it's making it more exciting because it is delivering, maybe it's fan servicey, whatever, but like there is some seriously jaw-dropping amazing shit that happens in season 2, and on a pretty regular basis at that. And that's just to talk about the storytelling. I think the storytelling is really interesting. I think it builds off of everything that season 1 set up. And I loved season 1 for everything that it did, but season 2 did kind of take it to new highs. I think that's true. So I loved it. I was a huge fan of season 2. I do think that the meat of our discussion, as we've said, is going to be relegated to our spoiler conversation because, look, at this point, if you haven't watched season 1, you got to watch season 1. Like, you can't just jump to season 2. That's not smart. That's not a smart thing to do. And I would be shocked if people that didn't like season 1 would like season 2 much better. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but I think season 1 really, really worked. And so I'd be more surprised if you didn't like it. You know, it's one of those things, if you go back and watch season 1 and you like it, you're going to roll right into season 2. And I think it picks up exactly where it left off, where it left off. And, maybe it's getting a little bit more money thrown its way. I think certainly even the first episode of season 2, we see the CG budget going to town.
Yeah.
And that is a through line, the scale of it, the scope of it, whether it's literally just the effects work, but also whether it's just the storytelling and where the storytelling goes. I mean, it goes places that people would not have foreseen a couple of years ago when this thing was announced. It's turned into its own thing, and it's turned into a corner of the Star Wars universe that I think, especially given the rise of Skywalker, I mean, people are just like, yeah, okay. They can't do Star Wars right. You know what I mean? Like that's what this feels like. Or even the hoopla around The Last Jedi, even though I love it, clearly it was a polarizing film. And like The Mandalorian, I don't think is a polarizing show in any way. So I guess what I'll say is I will echo probably all of the things that I said in much more depth about season 1, which is to say that the cinematography is continually excellent. The use of the volume is seamless. It's Star Wars, and it's clearly otherworldly, and some of the environments are digital, but it honestly feels pretty real. You know what I mean? It's not that sort of processed digital look that you got in the prequels. It's very convincing, and it's high quality shit, I would say. The acting in it is great. Pedro Pascal basically acts from the voice booth for most of his role. I would say 98% of the role of the Mandalorian is done voicing the character, and he adds everything you need with the voice. And certainly I think he was able to portray the character more on set this season than he was in last season. But that character is body mannerisms and voice. Like that's the character. It's a V for Vendetta type performance, basically, is what you're getting out of that. And he nails it. And everyone else around him, I think, is usually pretty good. He's the through line, the puppeteering of Baby Yoda, of Yiddle, of blah 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 is that's such a huge part of the show, and it's so incredibly charming, and it feels so uniquely Star Wars that they decided to use a puppet instead of CGI for most of that character's role. It adds to the charm of it in a huge way. The action is great. The action's always great. You get a lot of good gunplay. You get some other... the Darksaber was introduced in season 1. You get a little bit more Darksaber here. I don't think that's much of a spoiler, but it comes back. The villain is good. Moff Gideon's a good villain. There's good shit kind of throughout this whole season, and it has more of a direct through line and connections between the episodes that kind of unite everything, and it all just fucking works. And if there's any one thing that ties it all together with a nice little Christmas bow on top, it's Ludwig Göransson's score, which is goddamn incredible. I mean, he outdid himself episode after episode. Just magical stuff, And so if they put out another 8LP thing, I don't even have a vinyl player, but I'd be tempted to buy that.
I will say, I think,
you know what I mean? So
I think this season they did, at least based on the CDs and what's available on streaming, they did like a half season and then a half season, so it's less. Yeah, it's less songs in total, I guess, because there's a lot of the same themes, but still some good new stuff. And like you can listen to it. I already listened to the soundtrack for the season 2 like a couple times since it dropped, and it's amazing.
I am happy to be having the records come to the house. I will say that. I mean, the score is outrageous.
I would like to see the records at my home.
Yes, precisely. Specifically season 2, but I don't think those are out yet. But I have season 1 coming. The dude is a very talented guy, so I am all about it.
In some of what I have already said, I will gush effusive praise for Johnny V and for Dave Filoni and for Kathy Kennedy for putting them in a position to make this damn thing, Say if you want to, she should be fired, blah, 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 like all you want, but like fucking Mandalorian is top tier shit in my opinion. Yeah. It's awesome. And I can tell, I mean, we all know that Dave Filoni lives and breathes Star Wars. That much is apparent. But it's very apparent to me that Jon Favreau has a unique, and I think really good understanding of Star Wars, and and it's coming from more of like a fanboy kind of perspective in its own sort of way, but he still understands it too. You can be a fan of Star Wars and understand it, and in a way that he's not George Lucas or anything like that. Although did make the comparison earlier, And even he's not even Dave Filoni. I mean, Dave Filoni is basically George Lucas 2.0 in a sort of way, in terms of the depths of knowledge that he has about Star Wars and the depth of the passions that he has for the Star Wars franchise. But those two particularly, like, there's a reason that Lucasfilm is being like, make like 17 shows for us. Like, great. Like, these guys get it. They do. They just really get it. And season 2 is proof positive of that. They know what they're doing. The story is interesting. It's set in this post-Return of the Jedi period, and it goes places that are just awesome. Just awesome in terms of exploring what's going on with the larger universe, what's the New Republic up to, what are the remnants of the Empire, and then maybe touching on some characters that we might have seen once or twice in the past. Not to spoil anything, but we'll talk about that soon. So that's what I have to say about The Mandalorian Season 2. Any other non-spoilers on, I know that's pretty minimal non-spoilers, although I probably talked for longer than I actually realized, but any other non-spoiler thoughts? We have a lot to say, I think, in spoilers, but yeah. I do want to open up the floor for anyone that wants to just say anything before we get there, or do recommendation, I guess.
It's all incredible.
Do you recommend this show, Andrew?
I highly recommend the fucking show. Absolutely.
Would you say that it's a very yes show, or just? I would say
I would say it's absolutely a very yes show, and even not from like a only Star Wars standpoint. Like, it's just it's a well shot, well acted, well paced. Doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, I mean, it knows what it sets out to do each season, and it does it in the highest possible fashion. It's a very good show.
Henrique, would you say you feel the same?
I feel similarly. If you are a fan of Star Wars and you're not watching it, then you are really missing out on something incredible. If you hate Star Wars, then maybe this won't be for you because it's close enough. It's not so separate, but I think you could enjoy it if you're not a diehard Star Wars fan. If you watch the movies once, you can probably still enjoy The Mandalorian.
Well, Sarah enjoys the Mando.
Yeah, you don't have to be like a diehard fan, I don't think.
As a counterpoint to people that hate Star Wars, there's a very specific section of Star Wars fans that hate Star Wars because of the sequel trilogy. And I think if that applies to you, The Mandalorian may still also be for you. I mean, yeah. I may not necessarily agree with your opinions, hypothetical person, but certainly this is in line, I think, with the sensibilities of the original trilogy, both seasons 1 and season 2. And I think that there's a lot of stuff in it that, if there were things that frustrated you about the sequel trilogy, I think that this answers those. Not even as, intended to be as a responsive thing, but something that can serve as that. If that's like, I'm so jaded from Star Wars because of The Last Jedi or because of Rise of Skywalker, like, the Mando is the avenue of Star Wars that is lined with gold, I think. So, I'll say it's very yes. No secrets there for me. It's an incredibly well put together show. It's continually entertaining. Every episode isn't as good as every other episode. Like, you're going to have favorites in the bunch, and some are going to be more exciting to you than others in the bunch. But like, each one brings something to the table. And they've got talented folks just working on this, and it's just fun to watch, and that's something that you need with Star Wars, is a sense of fun and a sense of adventure and a sense of just kind of magic in that universe. And this just has that sort of spark to it. And, it's the type of show that it comes out week to week and you're fucking pissed because you just want to watch the next one right away. And it's not even that it leaves it on such a cliffhanger that you need the answer. It's just that was so good and it wasn't long enough. I need more.
I just don't want it. Yeah, exactly. I just don't want it to stop.
And so it's the kind of thing you could binge. You could binge this shit, 8 episodes. You can watch all 16 episodes in a couple days and be happy with it. You know what I mean? But, even week to week, it's still satisfying. It still absolutely kind of hits the mark of what it is supposed to be and what it intends to be. I love it. It's top tier television, and yes, 2020 has not brought us a lot of good things, but it brought us The Mandalorian season 2, which is to say the year can't be all that bad, although it's pretty fucking bad. For those of us that happen to make it to the end of 2020, which is a really awful thing to say, but here we are.
I think, if anything, though, that this show for me made a point to... It made a point for weekly releases of shows, because I would have been so pissed if somebody had binged through the whole show at 3 a.m. and ended, like in the morning the next day, and then just started talking about stuff online. And not saying that you can't be spoiled on a week-to-week basis, but I personally like having that conversation. Like each episode, especially in this season, like big shit happened this one episode. Like, that's what Twitter, that's what the internet, that's what people are talking about. Like, did you see the episode? Did you see when so-and-so showed up and like this thing, and like, wow. And I don't like waiting, but it makes me appreciate and like think about the episode. Like I went and watched every episode twice because it came out on a week to week, versus I think it all come out at once, I probably would have watched it all the way through and then started again. So I think for a show like this, for me, it worked coming out as a week to week, especially it's only 8 weeks versus like a 15 part show or something like that. So it worked for me.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, at least half of these episodes had some sort of major character reveal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of just being like, you couldn't have been able to preserve that level of surprise with a Netflix dump type thing, and you would have had to avoid social media for forever, basically, until you got through it. Which is fine if you're not on social media, but. All right, I think that covers non-spoilers and recommendations quite adequately, if I do say so myself. Which means, we should be having an extensive spoiler conversation right about now. One that we teased at the beginning of the episode, made reference to throughout. Alas, we have already spent 2+ hours on Disney Investor Day and really just scratching the surface of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And, something just tells me that we're about to talk for another couple hours about Season 2 of The Mandalorian when we get to spoilers. And I can't in good conscience ask our listeners to make their way through a 4-hour episode. I just can't do it. So we're going to effectively kind of press pause right here for this episode. I know, maybe disappointing for some, but hopefully the title, with non-spoilers in it, flagged listeners for that. But we'll pick up with spoilers for Season 2 of The Mandalorian on our next episode. And so for now, I will just say thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. We are on Patreon, patreon.com /watch review repeat. Right now, it's probably best for getting early access to all of our episodes since it's been taking a good while to put them all up. But $2 a month will get you access to that. And hopefully 2021 will give us an opportunity to work on some bonus episodes, maybe some long promised bonus episodes that we've sort of alluded to on this episode already. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can send those our way to Gmail, our Gmail account, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. You can find the links to our social media accounts on our website, watchreviewrepeat.com. Or if you just want to follow us directly on Twitter, we are at WRRPod. And you can just search for Watch Review Repeat on Facebook. Our intro and outro track, It's Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. No surprise, next episode we will be talking Season 2 of The Mandalorian in full spoilers. And of course, Jedi Master Henrique Jaime will be back for that, alongside Andrew and myself. And so, I will say, on behalf of the group, be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.